prize money. But ending in 7-8 is a different story.
This is enormous.
And Team Liquid gets to kind of rest on their laurels because they know they're in. They're, at least as far as I know, the only thing there's difference between 1 to 4 seeding for the finals. There's no actual.
A 3-4 team is making it. It looks like if CompLexity doesn't win this match.
Well, 3-4 team is guaranteed to make it because we take the top 4.
Yeah, and so I mean, Team Liquid's in.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
They,
so the worst they can go is 4th, I believe.
And so here is a big part of where Trinity Series starts. And a big part of crafting your game plan. All 9 classes represented across the board for both teams. At the start of the match, they'll ban 2 of the opposing classes, and they will not be available for play. Afterwards, they'll have 7 left, and they'll leave 1 of them behind. And then with the 6 classes they have remaining, they'll play a last hero standing match where the first team to take 6 wins wins the set.
What a warrior self-ban here from CompLexity. We've seen crazy strategies come out from different teams, and Warrior just 6-0'd. It's 6-0'd with 6-0. And now you're telling me that you don't even want to bring Warrior. Now, they had to submit this beforehand. Now, obviously, they didn't get the pleasure of watching the stream and then making the decisions. But,
however, I mean, is this like a callback to what we just saw? They bring Hunter, didn't work out. They banning Warrior, the deck that just dominated the series.
Listen.
And they have to win.
If you do the expected strategy, even if it is the optimal best percentages, if you just keep doing that against other people who do the same exact thing, your odds of winning are 50% because you're just copying what other people do. If you take a risk, that gives you the edge. And all CompLexity needs to do is win 6-5. It doesn't matter if they win 6-0 or 6-5. They just need to win the series.
That's right.
Team Liquid, on the other hand, they're going to stick to the tried and true. They don't have to do anything and mess with the winning formula.
I can tell you, though, these guys want to win. And part of that competitive spirit joins a lot from seeing some of these players compete at BlizzCon, for instance. The Hearthstone Invitational, there was no money at stake. And, and they were
call yourself the BlizzCon champion.
They were pushed into fun formats, goofy formats, things that they will likely never play again from a competitive aspect. And they took it very seriously.
Yeah, Crypt played Pirate Warrior. They took it very, very seriously.
If you think that in Week 7 of Trinity Series anyone's playing soft, I would disagree with you.
Team Liquid also had an opportunity to also separate themselves from the pack. I think one of the things you can kind of at least take a lot of pride in is that every other team was close except for you. You just dominated the field.
We kick things off, and it looks like Zoo Warlock versus Control Warlock. And Team Liquid. This is an interesting opening hand because on the one hand, Blood Reaver Gul'dan is so powerful in the matchup. But Team Liquid's cards do not match up the same way as CompLexity's cards do. CompLexity's goal is to contain the board. Team Liquid's is to actually kill them.
The problem is the Doomguard and Blood Reaver Gul'dan work so well together in theory, but also in practice, they can also be the antithesis of each other. But Doomguard is great to control the board early, so that way it leads to Gul'dan, but it has a high chance of discarding Gul'dan as well.
Yeah, I think in that situation, you probably mulligan away the Gul'dan. Ooh. And you probably mulligan away the Doomguard as well. You just want early action. The South Sea Captain is powerful enough to keep, but they get punished by it here, and CompLexity has Galaka Crawler. CompLexity, given the hands, is at a massive advantage here.
Side effects.
Galaka Crawler, yeah. This one feels like it is a train wreck waiting to happen, and we're just, we see it. They're on a collision course, except CompLexity is driving,
a train leaves from CompLexity traveling at 60 miles an hour. A train traveling the opposite direction from Team Liquid is going at 80 miles an hour.
Team Liquid's not driving a train. They're driving like a little smart car. And it's going to end horribly.
That is quite a weird math teacher who came up with the smart car versus train math formula.
Yeah.
How badly does the smart car get crushed? Now, if it was a Tesla, it might flip over the train.
Yeah, well, I mean, it used to be like one of those fun things where they give you a math problem, like, a train is like going at 400 kilometers per hour, and a car is traveling at like 120, but the car leaves like 6 hours earlier. Who gets there first? You have to like show math. And I said, who cares? I'm buying a plane ticket.
Yep, it's lethal. Who cares about it? That's smart.
Yeah, I got 0 credit for it.
Thanks, Wright brothers.
I mean, it was one of those things where like it was just like a homework.
Well, it led you to your illustrious career of entertaining people with your words.
No, I mean, like, it was a homework, but it wasn't a tech.
You're right, it was just entertaining me.
Interesting that they're willing to fight so much for board position here. But even though it didn't really do much for the death rattle effects, let's go ahead and start tuning into the teams and see how good CompLexity is feeling with a hand like this.
Like you're thinking, and then just play. Don't need to instant.
We never just tap.
Never.
Yeah.
Like if he, yeah.
We use tap plus Golaka in a lot of cases next turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they kept something they haven't played yet. It's honestly pretty likely it's a pirate, right? Like you can keep that or a councilman.
Doesn't that do Hellfire?
You encourage them to Hellfire if you play Fledgling, and you really want to cycle these cards.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, go Councilman.
They Hellfire.
What about Tap Mistress here?
Yes, that's the first thing that comes into my mind. So they might coin Doomguard, right?
Ooh. They might. Can you... You can't really Hellfire this though.
No, tap Mistress is good. We still can put Mistress into the Councilman and then Hellfire. The turn, and then we can probably siphon the Doomguard or something. I don't know, I think...
Attack into... Okay.
If we attack, it's just Soulfire though, right? I don't think attacking actually does anything good for us.
Yep.
Side effects.
Okay, this is your call. I think this is really close.
I would not. I would not.
Yes, Doomguard, right?
Yep. Dog, just Doomguard, right?
Just Doomguard. It's
Yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. You're good.
Alright.
Did make it seem like this is their line though.
But it's fine, right? Like Hellfire is still good.
Mm-hmm, I guess. Yeah, it should be Hellfire, and we should have clears afterwards.
Yeah, Hellfire.
Yeah, I would also Hellfire.
Get rid of this nasty Malcazar Simp. I mean, it drew 2 cards already. It's just what it does, right?
Yeah.
It's such a powerful card. But like preemptively Hellfiring, I think was just not very good.
No.
Second Hellfire, or they need like spell power, Defile, and
As
then
long
it
as just
becomes.
play, do you want to tap? Like, do you want to tap and play Fledgling? You don't want to commit everything, right? Like, I think tap.
Yeah,
Fledgling
yeah,
is fine.
yeah. I want to top Fledgling. I'm talking about top Fledgling. It's either that or just Dreadler, right?
I mean, it doesn't really get punished by too much. The thing is, if we play Fledgling, they might go with like Despicable and just let it live, and then try to go into like Abyssal.
Mm-hmm.
Fire Despicable if you want, or we could just commit the Malx and Voidwalker. But if we do that, then they might end up going with a good Defile. So I think it's just tap Fledgling, and then maybe next turn we just have to pitch a card.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Tap,
Okay.
tap Fledgling, right?
Yes.
Or
Top Fledgling, yeah. Yeah, I think they'll most likely just go the 5-mana Demon Nuns.
Because I mean, we can go with Soulfire Dreadlord. It's not like
Yes.
the world or Dreadlord
Mhm,
Soulfire.
mhm.
Like we
Yeah,
end
just
up
miss.
using a card, but we kind of just don't lose the Defile, which is nice.
Yeah, it's good. And we also get to attack phase with the Fledgling, which can be huge, right?
So it's-
Yeah. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and we play that.
Yeah.
Yep.
We do it, right?
So
Yeah.
Doom Guard for sure.
Yep.
We just need to draw
Really good. We're
like
cycling, we're cycling towards Gul'dan. Yeah, this is really, really
Yes,
strong.
yeah, it's really good.
Galaxy, I think. But...
Also, they don't have a good Abyssal Enforcer.
Exactly.
Job's done.
We're probably fine, so. Like this can only draw with one Soulfire. That's it.
Yeah, so it's probably just Siphon Soul. Like, there's only the last Soulfire left.
Yeah, I
both
would
of them
siphon
are-
as well.
Yep.
I feel like we
And-
take too much versus a bone mare.
And now they kind of just have to develop, and then we'll see what happens.
Probably with bone mare, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like bone mare is still super scary. They managed to Gul'dan. Like they played a lot of discard stuff, and they haven't discarded Gul'dan. So like Gul'dan could eventually be a big problem. Like if we have to use twisting at some point.
Yeah, we kind of need to hope that their hand is a little bit weaker now.
Yeah.
Like both Doomguards drawing two cards.
nice.
Just
Why do you fall? Total corruption? Total power!
Double Drake though? We should probably double Drake, right?
So many possibilities.
Yeah, probably.
like we have to think though. Like if we double Drake, then there's a good chance they just develop, go face, and that we're still forced to Nether.
They play Spellbreaker, so right?
I'm kind of scared that we still have to Nether the turn after. But Nether now does also not look good.
Yeah.
Like we get what, a 4/5 and a 4.
I think we're supposed to play double Drake. Fight for board a little bit.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think so.
Like we
too.
can't twisting this turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or can we? No, let's play double Drake.
Yep.
That was also my first instinct.
I think I like tapping or Prince first, and
yeah.
then. But we might play Councilman, right?
Yeah, not exactly. Councilman, Kellerseth top, right?
Yeah, that's order, right? And then we
No.
play Firefly, probably.
I mean, we want to top, right? So
Do you want to play Kellerseth this turn?
you mean you want to go like double 3?
Councilman Fledgling or tap Councilman like Captain? Then we're not weak to actually whatever you said's fine, but Councilman into
Yeah.
Council's fine. Just do that.
Councilman, Kellerseth top.
But,
And all
it's like
face,
final,
right? All face, right?
Yeah, all face.
Pre-show that 8 p.m.
Oh, it was so close.
I was thinking of like
For those of you who don't know, Sho used to be a high-level StarCraft 2 Terran player. So he's got that APM. Even though, actually, ironically enough, he wasn't known for his APM. He actually had sub 100 APM and won tournaments despite that. Very impressive resume, both in multiple games. He's actually one of the very few who's able to climb multiple mountains of different games. Now he's considered a top-level player in Hearthstone as well. Now, CompLexity, on the other hand, they did pick up that Defile. That was something that Team Liquid was very afraid of, and it feels like there's definitely some ways to manipulate this to ensure that you get the Defile clear. Trying to look at the way you trade, though.
I wonder.
I mean, this is a weird spot. I mean, as soon as Team Liquid smelled weakness, they struck. CompLexity.
Oh yeah, you're just tossing Galactic Crawler and you guarantee the clear. But is there an easier way, more efficient way? You trade there, you hit the Darkshire Councilman, but you're missing a 3 health minion.
They have a 3 health.
Oh no, they do. The Forge 6 becomes it. So you just defile.
This works as well. There's typically multiple ways to set up.
Yes.
Down to 11 now, with just a Galactic Crawler on board. Whew.
Sernai Changang, that's why it's important to play that Prince Kelis set. It's as if you adapt every one of your minions with +1/+1. Let's go ahead and start tuning in back in to see how Team Liquid's going to navigate these turns.
So
Yeah, let's stop first. Guman, please.
Good night. Fudging's good.
Yeah. How long?
How long can this go on? Best meme.
That's the best meme, yeah.
Okay, so we don't die to Gul'dan if we go bump, Abyssal, Drain Soul, Voidwalker, but then we die to the suck the turn after, right? Oh no, we don't. We go to 10, they deal 5.
Yeah, I think that's the only play, right? Abyssal, Drain Soul, Voidwalker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you call?
Hope that they don't have Gul'dan, but
Yeah.
Oh, get him.
How can you see this before me? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Greek internet.
Yeah.
Fizz, GG.
Yep.
I mean, even if he has Blood River, he's dead here, right? It's
Yes.
actually
Now
it's
they're like,
impossible.
it's impossible, yeah.
I'm staring to Blood River. It's the only way, I think.
They need like a sick defile clear and then a taunt. Or a decent taunt.
Another Doomsayer into Blood River.
Yeah.
Alright, we always suck, right?
Suck face, yeah.
Yeah. And so what do they have left?
I like going really wide, like 4-1-3.
Sure.
And they
I mean,
don't
I don't
have
think it
defile
matters.
Where
Yeah.
we don't have lethal if we go with the other play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We do.
Wait, should we play the one? Maybe give them a defile?
They don't have defile anymore.
Here's
Oh, they don't, sure. Yeah, you're right. Let's just go.
everything. I don't think it matters. Alright, where it would.
Oh, no.
It's bad, man. They had Gulaka, but they never had a target.
You drew passes.
Do I have to get high rolled by Sue every week? Come on, bro.
Yeah, you can tap.
Yeah. See the lethal. Alright. We go with Rogue, yeah?
Team Liquid able to destroy the remains of that Control Warlock and start off the series with a 1-0 victory off of some very consistent play, and I think it shows you how much game this mid-range Zulok has against even the slow decks that have a plentiful amount of AoE.
Yeah, the MVP combo of Malchezaar Zimp Doomguard hit twice in that matchup, and that extra card draw found them that Blood Reaver Gul'dan at the right spot, and that was the end game for Team Liquid. That's why they threw away that Blood Reaver Gul'dan.
Yeah.
In Control versus Control Warlock matchups, it's a card that you definitely keep in your opening hand, but when you're an aggressive Zulok and you're playing Doomguard, you don't want to risk discarding it. You want to follow up with it after you've played as many demons and applied as much pressure as possible.
Despite the fact that Team Liquid even had the patches draw, right, and their opponent had double Galaka, they were able to sequence things in a way that made it always very awkward, but also it just happens to be right place, right time. They recognized the important way to partition your resources, and as a result, climbed to a very important Game 1 victory, which has led to so many series victories in the past. So we are just getting underway with our first series of Match 2 here at Week 7 of Trinity Series Season 2. When we come back, more action right after this commercial break.
Hey guys, that's Admirable here with a great new product for you if you've been playing Hearthstone. Are you tired of playing with no financial incentive whatsoever? Then that's why I've brought to you today Trinity Series with over $150,000 available if you can compete, which you definitely can. All you have to do is get on a high-profile team and become a professional player. Just take the testimonials from some of my most loyal customers in Trinity Series.
I used to be a ladder grinder, but thanks to Trinity Series, I now can win $150,000 and call myself a professional Hearthstone player.
And you can too. All it takes is to become a professional Hearthstone player right now in Trinity Series with $150,000 in prizes available for anyone competing here. Not only that, but it's helped players of all sorts become professional players. Take some more testimonials from some of my most loyal customers.
In the past, I unironically whined passive-aggressively on social media about the current state of competitive Hearthstone, but thanks to Trinity Series, I now have money and friends.
That's right, you too can have money and friends. To be exact, $150,000. Thank you so much for checking out my commercial, and if you call now, we'll even throw in a second match.
You guys seeing this?
Game, record, and stream without compromise. Only on Intel Core i7.
Big shout out to Intel as well as all the partners that make this product possible. Trinity Series, where we play for $150,000 is on the line, and currently we're in the middle of a best 11 between Team Liquid and their opponents CompLexity, who's looking for a way to slide into the top 4. Currently they're sitting in 7th place, but the standings are so tight that anything could happen, but it's a good start here for Team Liquid with a big win. Do you consider that an upset, that the Zoo Warlock was able to defeat a Control Warlock?
I think it can be quite close, but I think in general I'd give the edge to Zoo Warlock. Kind of touching on the CompLexity coming in at 7th place, I do want to note that there was a 6-way tie for second in the 3-3 match record score, but the game score was the thing that was a big difference here. CompLexity has to win this series in order to find themselves in a top 4. Last season they won the whole thing, and they were barely on even footing. They were taking their matches 6 games to 5 in so many scenarios. They actually won the whole event with a 50% game win rate. The difference was they were winning more of their game 11s, and that was a big key for them throughout. Here, though, now their backs are against the wall. They're queuing up a counter to the Zoo Warlock for Team Liquid, which means that they're the ones who have the edge when it comes to queuing up decks. As soon as they knock out the priority decks from CompLexity, that's when they're going to find their trouble. But it starts with getting a win with Rogue.
And Rogue is definitely a good deck to do it with. And they're putting the trust in Mr. Yagut, who has a lot of experience on the Rogue class, as noted by the Edwin Van Cleef poster behind him.
That's right.
There's a bunch of medals and trophies, if you didn't notice that. There's a bunch of medals that he had in his background there.
Patches. I
What
mean, we talk
is
about
going on, man?
We talk about Team Liquid playing the spoiler today, but that guy's been showing up all the time.
Wait,
oh my
what?
god! Patches, shut up!
And Team Liquid also drew Patches the previous game. I feel like we've seen Patches be someone from the deck like 2 times in this entire day so far.
I mean, this is ridiculous. This is quite rare. I'm uncomfortable if I'm both of these teams, but if they both knew the other one had Patches, they'd be like, oh, okay. I feel like it's only fair that Team Liquid drew theirs as well.
Yeah. This is, well, okay, let me ask you a question. Who ends up getting hurt more? Is it the Rogue or the Warlock?
I would definitely say Rogue.
Because Warlock has life tap and can offset the Patches draw?
The other thing, too, is that CompLexity is reliant on their damage to clear. Like, their priority is to answer what Team Liquid has going on. So there's not a lot going on. That's fine, but the difference is CompLexity, they need to stick something on board. So the patch is just occupying that draw. And so yes and no on the life tap conundrum. But it's mostly just because this isn't a Cobalt Scalebane. It isn't a Bone Mirror. It isn't a Cold Blood to trade up, things like that. It's a hanging card that is meant now to service as like a cheap dagger for a turn, like a half-price, half-quality dagger. And for combo activators, that's just not a comfortable spot. Like this, if they play Vicious Fledgling here, CompLexity is in massive trouble. Normally, if Patch was in the deck, South Sea Captain would take care of it.
Right. They knew the hands.
Now that being said, I'm probably playing Vicious Fledgling if I'm in Team Liquid's spot. I do want to force them to have Backstabber Captain, and I think they would have backstabbed the Flame Imp.
And the upside of it is very high of Fledgling. It can actually solo Rogue from this point on.
Yeah, like if they go Wind Fury into Stealth, or Wind Fury into Can't Be Targeted,
Or
Wind Fury into Divine Shield. Like, there's so many bad scenarios for CompLexity that I think it's worth the risk.
Yeah, even plus health is problematic.
Job's done.
Let's go ahead and start tuning in. CompLexity might be in some trouble here.
Oh my god. Why did I draw Patches?
Well, you have to play Captain here, because like, they're gonna go face with Fledgling, and then next time we get a 2-2 Patches and SI.
Yeah, I agree. I like it. I want to play Captain as well. We can't just play the small guys so weak. Gotta play Captain.
It's never anything else.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
But what if he sulfies it?
Yeah, then we're sad.
Then we're sad, but there's no better play.
Yeah. If he's so fast, we might have to go Chinging. Like, but Captain is always better. Like, we can't just play 3 small guys. We even want the small guys for combo at some point. Can't not play a 3-drop here.
Very sure it's Captain.
Yeah, 100%.
Whoa.
I called it.
All right, let's go. Wind Fury.
Okay, you get it every time. See, check every time.
Oh,
Easy.
Oh my god, disgusting.
Health, right?
Better than Divine Shield.
Health is better, right? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think so too.
Health is better.
Yeah.
Firefly, Soulfire.
Yep.
Yep.
Alright, I'll be right back one sec. You got this game show.
Hopefully you don't pitch the Spellbreaker, because if we play how long do we want it?
Oh.
Fine.
Look at that betrayal positioning. Already set up.
We need to Serenade.
Yeah.
Yep.
How long can this go on? How long can this go on?
And then get the Wind Fury.
Oh yeah.
We can get an adapt, so. First. And trade all into one, and then
What do we
some
want?
merits not.
From the what do you want?
I want health.
Health. Okay, let's go. Oh, you got it. Easy.
Hold on, wait, actually. If we get attack,
We know one card in their hand is Patsy, the other is Firefly.
I think health.
Locker's the thing. Well, hold on, wait. If we go with attack, that's 12 next turn, but it could be more.
Possibilities.
But
That's true.
some merit,
actually.
because the thing is, turn of this if they have like one-drop Bilespine. We don't even have another turn of this if they have backstab Bilespine. So,
Almost out of time.
attack right now. I'm playing Voidwalker.
Yeah, I
Don't really
like
get
it.
punished by anything.
Sure, okay.
Step SI with 1-drop. That's it.
Why do you call?
Health, I would say we don't even play the Voidwalker for backstab Bilespine, but they didn't have a backstab before. I don't know. There's just like a lot of things to consider.
Yeah, maybe they're keeping it. That's another thing, but
This guy's
That's what I was saying.
feels bad.
Oh,
This guy's toast.
Took this.
Tap fledgling.
Yeah.
Yeah, tap, see what we get. Is it fledgling or is it captain? Like, doesn't it just die? Fledgling?
So it should be captain.
Yeah, it should be captain.
I mean, they want to go like either Cairn or Scalebin here, and then fledgling will connect.
Yeah, so you're saying that if they ignore it, we'd rather have... No, they can, like, they can go any 5, because they can go, like, 1, trade.
Patches, right?
Yeah, they have patches.
Oh yeah, they have patches. Yeah.
So it should just be captain still.
Yeah, I think I like captain.
Pirate's code. Job's done.
Cards.
Okay, we do that first.
Yeah.
Now we just play all 1-drops.
Not patches, right?
Well, with patches we can kill the 3/3. We
No,
trade
we
the
can kill that just
3/3
with
and...
dagger.
Wait,
Right,
you
we
want
can-
to sacrifice the 3/3 into the 3/3?
I wonder.
We trade with the patches and 1/2 and dagger into the 3/3.
Yeah. Yeah, let's just do that. Yeah, I agree. Let's do that.
Yeah. I'm just thinking if we need to hold back one play, but probably not. Because we're gonna bone mare next turn, and then, yeah.
I'm in charge now.
Really wide wood. But they're just trying to get their bone mare up.
Yeah, it looks like they just want a bone mare. I mean, isn't it just always Dreadlord here, though? And then we go just 4-3, hope something sticks with bone mare. I mean, just playing Saronite, isn't it super weak? Isn't it better to just go Dreadlord?
Many possibilities.
So they will buff a Firefly and trade.
Firefly. We have the top deck out of second Despicable. Realistically, it's probably our best bet. Just like hoping we top, because if we go Serenite, we kind of just lose anyways.
Yeah.
And then hope we top deck second
Yeah, it's
one.
just Despicable.
We top deck second one, we're actually okay, right? They only have a 5-5 against, or a 5-4 against a...
I mean, one card is created, so they have a card that they drew turn 4. I mean, they could not have bone mare. It's like likely. They don't always have it also.
Yeah, I agree with that.
How do we trade?
All of it. I wouldn't take damage.
Yeah, the trade the board in, and then save the deck hand.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Like, just trade the 3 minions in, and then play the 6-drop.
When do we save the deckhand?
For the second 4-5, then next turn we have deckhand bone mare, anyways.
Yeah,
It's
I
only
don't
2
think
like, you only
it's-
push 2. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
worth.
I don't think it's worth either.
I wonder.
And you could even, like, get, like, Valspan. I'm pretty sure it's not worth to push the 2.
It's not bone mare for sure. It has to be Trafficker. I wouldn't push the 2, yeah.
Yeah,
I
and, like,
Africa as well, but why do we not deckhand into this?
Because of the 4-5, I don't like it.
I don't think they have it, so I don't know.
I would hold it.
Okay, if you guys agree, then sure.
That's really good, actually.
Oh.
Where we go Serenite.
Serenite.
Yeah, but it's also
a
good
bone
to
mare
have
and
Doomguard
Doomguard.
in hand.
Yeah.
How long can
Oh, look.
True show coming through.
so now we just deckhand bone mare it.
Yeah, but do we bone mare the 6-6 or the deckhand? The deckhand we get punished by a Soulfire.
They have no spellbreak anymore, right? They
Yeah.
discarded it.
I'm thinking we just make this guy big.
And trade deckhand into the
And
2/3.
weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I think I like it too.
Yeah. Remember to hit with deckhand first.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah.
That is a big bone mare. Cabal Trafficker is doing a ton of work here. CompLexity getting some valuable cards. Oh no! The Doomguard and the Blood Reaver Gul'dan. So uncomfortable.
The problem here is that Team Liquid, their Bone Mare is simply would be absorbing damage here because the Cabal Trafficker is right outside of range of it.
Yeah.
So the question is, if you Bone Mare, you don't attack, obviously, but is there ever a merit to life tapping, jamming Doomguard, and hoping that you keep Blood Reaver Gul'dan? It's 33%, and you would get to clear off the Trafficker. You take a hit of 5, you live for 1 turn, and then you play Blood Reaver Gul'dan. I mean, living for 1 turn seems like the hard part of the formula.
I feel like you can do the same thing next turn, though. Like, if you Bone Mare, you get a high-quality minion out. You still kind of challenge the board because they have to use the 7/7. They have to get past it, and 2 cards are Cabal Trafficker cards, so it's not likely to be Vile Spine Slayer.
That Shadow Step earlier. Oh, they're going to... Oh, does that deviate them?
Whoa. Oh, my goodness.
The Serenite absorbs so much damage, they're going for it! Oh! The Gul'dan lives! So now, Team
Look
Liquid...
at Dog's face. That summarizes everything.
Team Liquid's dropping to 16 here, and that Cobalt Scalebane is the key draw. I think CompLexity wins with that Scalebane draw.
I mean, even if it was just Felguard Van Cleave, it was still really good.
Team Liquid has to find a way to protect themselves.
Felguard Cobalt Scalebane is pretty nutty, especially if it lands on the Felguard. Or maybe even Cobalt Edwin. I don't know. Slightly more damage.
Just jam the Pit Lord.
5, so you put him to 16. You want to jam the Pit Lord and go down to 6?
No,
I don't know.
I don't want to do that.
Edwin Cobalt is 1 more damage on the board. So you put your opponent down to 16, and then you have 5, 10, 17 on board. Plus you think your opponent's going to life tap, so... I think Felguard is just better than the Edwin Van Cleave because you get to have some safety in having a taunt minion in case your opponent some way somehow gets a second Doomguard off the top and finds a way to wreck you.
Playing the Felguard would also keep you from having Soulfire be a big liability in case the Cobalt Scalebane lands on the Edwin.
Either way, this is tough.
They have to tap into Soulfire. Back-to-back Crystal Weavers. They take the risk. The risk doesn't have time to see a payoff, and CompLexity answers back in a close game. They were all but done in that one, and a key Shadow Step draw allowed them to clear off a Vicious Fledgling that would have killed them the next turn.
But the Vicious Fledgling, I mean, also had an opportunity to choose a different path. Plus health is a very safe option. They know that their opponent doesn't have the ability to backstab Vilespine because they saw a perfect opportunity to backstab much earlier in the turns. So how do you deal with that? They were saying maybe they have the ability to Vilespine in the future turns. But then Vicious Fledgling could also have a bunch of other stuff that could buff it as well. So you lost a lot of damage there, and you gotta wonder what if.
You gotta wonder what if. Now, from a pure objective standpoint, I think the attack is better. You threaten to close the game immediately. The problem is when that 10% of the time it fails or whatever, how often the odds to draw Shadow Step, because it quite literally had to be pretty close to Shadow Step, I think. What kind of position are you in versus if you take health and your opponent just has very strong plays across the board against you?
Right.
That's a question where you would have to discuss it for quite a while to figure out where you sit in that game if you take health instead of attack. The attack is very apparently ending the game without a Shadow Step draw, though. So
well, I mean, it's a Shadow Step draw, but it could be, they didn't know if the Shadow Step was in hand, and then they drew an SI, for example. So there's multiple, scenarios, because you're playing from the probability of not knowing the cards in their hand.
Either way, it's got to be
and we're
SI or
casting
Shadow
percentages off the knowledge that's in the hand. So it's not just like a 10% out of there, but it's also
reverse it. Say they have Shadow Step, but they don't have SI7 agent.
Right, but that doubles the amount of probability for what they assume is the case.
They're both exactly the same thing.
They also could have been the cards in the hand.
So you could have just had Shadow Step,
right,
and
SI.
I think that's quite difficult to have both of those.
But I'm saying it's not as linear as oh, it's just 10%. It's 10% based off the knowledge that we already have. But when you're Team Liquid, you're making that decision. You said they have 2 cards in the hand, or 3 cards in the hand that we don't know about, plus another draws with 4.
I think from Team Liquid's perspective, it's actually far less than 10% of the time they get punished.
I mean, I think it's the highest percentage play, especially because if you can set up the 2-turn lethal that early on, I don't hate it at all. And it was really cool that Dog was able to spot that, because I think 9 out of 10 people easily would have picked the plus health.
And I think that plus health was game theory optimal, least exploitable play.
Let's go into game number 3, shall we? Tied 1 game apiece. Team Liquid's going to answer the Rogue with a Mage. very reliable pick. Not with that opening hand, though. Need to ditch all of it. Meanwhile, CompLexity has kind of the stuff that they need. They have Edwin, they have some early game players, and Saucy Captain with no sign of patches.
Yeah, every deck has like a patches style of card in it. In Mage, it happens to be Pyroblast. You just don't use this card for basically the entirety of the game.
Unless you're using to close the game. Like, they could have Ice Block up, burn Rogue, and then just Pyroblast for lethal.
Yeah, it's about it. But in this matchup, they need to answer board presence. And this hand is not doing that right now. And CompLexity's looking like they have an opportunity to go for a sizable Edwin here. So I am curious how CompLexity chooses to play their opener from a standpoint of aggression. Typically, in matchups where I'm unfavored, I tend to be more aggressive, or I conserve and look for one window of opportunity to make a big push.
Wait, we forgot about the fact that there's still a draw at the beginning of each turn at Revolt.
Yeah, and that's Mana Worm, and Mana Worm is the best draw in their deck. So we're off to the races.
Or is it?
Yes, it is.
Or is it?
Yes, it is. Okay. Or is it?
It is.
That's
now,
also quite a good draw.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is,
Excuse me.
again, when you dive into the numbers, it is very interesting to think about how Mana Worm has a very high percentage for wins when you play it on curve, but Arcanologist is actually higher percentage as well. So if you could choose, hypothetically speaking, Arcanologist gives you a higher chance to win if you play that on 2 versus just playing Mana Worm on 1. But if you put them together, I mean, that is quite the mage sandwich. Let's go ahead and tune in.
CompLexity!
Right.
Won't we kill that with that for next turn then?
Well, things happen. It doesn't always work out like I think.
Because like you bump regardless, the one phase damage doesn't matter, right? And if they ping the guy, then you're really happy.
Do you like the Advent, guys? Could also just hero power the worm this turn.
Yeah, that's also something, I guess.
Choose soon.
Actually, I think it's hero power and bump, and the next one hero power again.
Bump
Just go.
with both, right? In
Yeah,
the Mana Worm?
yeah. Hero power, bump both into the Mana Worm is the play. Because then we have the option to just flame LD coin Edwin.
Yeah.
And we guarantee to kill the worm with our dagger. We take a bit more, but we should get a big swing turn.
Yep.
Yeah. When they have this, we gotta do like that. They like us.
So
With our hand, though.
6/6 or what?
I don't. It's weak to fireball, and with our hand, then our follow up is really weak. I mean, our follow up is chain gang. It's
So
chain
what do
gang.
you want to do?
I'm trying to figure out if there's ever a captain play here, because they obviously didn't have a secret. They would have played that, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's a decent chance it's fireball since they had nothing to play. And if we just go captain now,
Yeah, we can also deal with the Doomsayer.
you can even captain and value trade into the worm with the patches.
Yeah, I would do that. I like that. I like that the most because now we do about
Trade with the patches into the 1/1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that the most.
Yeah.
Trade ping Doomsayer.
Ping Doomsayer.
Wait. So if we Doomsayer here, like it blocks their coin 5, right?
Wonder.
Yeah, I guess if they go coin 5, we can't really go double Doomsayer next turn and expect it to go off, right?
I think it's Doomsayer every time, especially because we're gonna we might pick up a secret next turn, or Arcanologist, or Acolyte Ping. Like, there's so many things we can get.
Sure. Okay, we kill the captain, right? Or no?
But yeah, the question is whether or not you want to be greedy and push 2 face damage, or if you want to kill the captain and play.
Wait. Actually, the 2 face damage might matter, right?
They might coin Vilespine, and then we have to go ping on the captain, play second Doomsayer, but we know that they run Shadow Step, so they could just Shadow Step to the second one.
Time runs out on me.
I think it's safer just to kill the captain.
Sure. I think our Doomsayer goes off more times.
damage, but
So they still call it Valspine, right? If they have it here. Or you think they will hold?
probably coin it just to get pressure, and then we probably go ping Doomsayer, and then I know what else happens. Something like that.
And if you just ignore it, then yeah, you give them a turn 3, but then we make the big Edwin, and still have Valspine later.
What are they going to do on turn 5?
So
They're probably just gonna draw with AI or like play a secret. Isn't it just
Save the Wildspine for the next Doomsayer.
yeah, or just a minion, and also like just
Do we ever Swashbuckler or something?
I wonder.
I would Swass Flame Elemental Edwin next turn.
yeah. So like I would just hit face redagger, I think.
Yeah,
And
sure.
just starting next turn we go in. Because like if next turn we make the Edwin, then we have coin bone marrow also, yeah?
Yeah.
Too soon.
And it's not like they're gonna pressure us on 5. It's just that we set
Well,
up
they might
the
play
order.
2-3. I don't know if we deviate then with Serenite.
No.
Tank more, probably not.
Let the pain speak to me.
I love what's happening in this game so far. You can hear that dog, and you can see how experienced he is with these control decks. He's not just playing with the cards in hand. He's playing with what he expects to draw, because he says there's a lot of good plays that we can pick up on turn 5, and we want to free up our mana so that way we're not stuck on Doomsaying on 5. And CompLexity lets it happen because they recognize the value of their hand. They have double Bone Mare, Vilespine Slayer for a proactive removal on Doomsayer, so they can push damage if their board ever gets frozen.
Yeah, this Acolyte may require a Milespine, though. I mean, this is a lot of card draw Team Liquid's threatening. And, you know, if you think about Dog's play there, it is quite risky, but again, consider it. If they draw Arcane Intellect, they get to play another Doomsayer to try to buy back tempo. If they draw Arcanologist, they get to play it and the Secret. If they draw Acolyte of Pain, they get to do this. So,
Or just the Secret of Selves.
Yeah.
So that's around 8 to 10 draws.
Option.
50% of the time, they have something to do, at least. And then you have any other decks that we're not thinking of. Like maybe they can just play a Mana Worm. Maybe they have at least the Trailblazer in there, some kind of weird tech card to help certain matchups. I really like Dog's play. It was actually a higher percentage play than it might look like at first, even though the Acolyte does seem very low.
wow. CompLexity gonna play Starlight Chain Gang to try to disrupt this.
They want to get ready for Bone Mare. They recognize that this is the most powerful turn that they can have.
Glyph is a very good draw for Team Liquid as well. That's another one. They could have drawn Glyph also.
If I'm Team Liquid, do I care if my opponent's going to Bone Mirror? I don't know if I can stop it.
You're going to stop that, I think, by overall pressure. So I think their goal in this spot is to try to just set up the best next couple of turns they can get. Because with Blizzard and with Fireland's Portal, they have a lot to stop board presence. So I like starting with either Primordial Glyph, or with Arcanologist, or with Ping on the Acolyte. I think all three of those are viable options.
And that does happen to fit in 6 mana. You'll be drawing 3 cards in that spot. Let's go ahead and listen in to Team Liquid, see what they're going to do.
And bump in, right?
We'll probably dump.
We could do that first, right?
Let's go.
If we're playing Doomsayers, we might.
Yeah, let's go, sure. Okay, so if they Bone Mare now, they have to... Yeah, I like Doomsayer, I like Doomsayer.
You could play Glyph if you want, but
I think I like Doomsayer. I think...
I like Doomsayer too, because healing 7 is fine, right?
Yeah.
I need blocks soon. Just so much.
The thing is that we
I
can't
want card
really...
draw.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We should
probably.
bone mail the 2-3 so that we play around Flame Strike the best.
Bone Mare on the
2-3.
left side?
You
Yeah.
could also just value trade the 2-3 and the 1-2, and then Bone Mare, the 2-2. But that doesn't play around Fireball. But are you mad if they Fireball? Or you could trade the 2. I think you just trade 2 minions into the 2-3 regardless. I don't think you need to go face.
Wait, why do you trade 2
Okay.
minions instead of the dagger?
Do you want to take face damage?
I don't want to take me. Yeah, do the play Tyler said. I like it.
So Bone Mare the... What do we Bone Mare?
The 2-2.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where do we play the Bone Mare?
left side.
Yeah.
Not the right side?
Yeah, just do one. Just do it. Doesn't matter. That's not like. Just get the 2 minions to hit the small guy. Yeah. Okay.
Board if you want to fire like 5/5. Sound terrible.
I mean, I think I'm leaning towards fire on the 5/5 because I don't think we have what it takes to kill them right now.
The 5 damage isn't very much.
Yeah.
We don't have block up or anything, right? Like, we just kind of have to stall more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like fire.
I mean,
Don't double
yeah,
Nova
even-
and Duck, yeah.
The thing is that even if we go AI, like, what are we really getting now that matters?
Do anything.
right?
It's like so inefficient, right? Like,
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's very inefficient too.
let's just go for the Firelands.
Yeah, get Leroy so we clear.
That almost cleared.
Yeah, almost.
It's Bone Mare again because it's not really a
On which minion?
on the 2/1, right?
On the 2/1, because then his 3/4 doesn't have any traits.
Yeah. And then I think you can go face.
Yeah.
Where do we play the bone now?
So
I think it's right side this time. No, wait. Middle?
This, yeah, the middle, because it's the smallest of all of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But actually, do you want your Bone Mare to die? Maybe you want a Shadow Step.
So
Yeah, okay, right side. I like right side.
Yeah. I agree. Just face, right?
Case, yeah. Here, trading makes some sense.
We don't attack with the dagger?
Don't think so. I don't think we have time to redagger next turn. Think's more likely we're just gonna.
I think the damage is kind of irrelevant, though.
Wow, this is a really tough position for Team Liquid. They're trying to tempo out Complexity in this spot, but they're answering back. Double Bone Mare. They still have Vile Spine, Edwin Van Cleef, and Cairn. Team Liquid has a lot to go through to stabilize this position, but they have a lot of tools to work with as well.
What to do?
Yes.
I also am quite interested in Complexity spreading out the damage rather than stacking it up. When you spread it out this way, you start leaving vulnerabilities to Blizzard or to Flamestrike in this instance, where if Team Liquid can just buy
especially
time.
in tandem with each other, Blizzard into Flamestrike.
Yeah, and if you stack it on one minion instead, it requires Team Liquid to have specific burn spells or a polymorph to handle it. So, you know, polymorph has been a common inclusion in decks that are meant to, and mage decks that are meant to counter rogues specifically. So I can see why they wouldn't stack it, but I still think I would prefer stacking it given that I have Cairn in hand.
Looks like Team Liquid feels like they need to draw into an actual way to win the game instead of just stalling. Fireball and Frostbolt's a lot of damage. They can utilize Frostbolt to stall immediately as well.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Ah, I see. That's quite smart.
So that way Blizzard clears that off next turn, guaranteed. You don't have to ping it.
Yeah, I think that's what they're looking for, is just to clear as much as possible. Ice Barrier buys them a considerable amount of health, and Complexity, without Leroy Jenkins, is lacking now a lot of burst damage. It's what's on board is basically what Team Liquid's going to take. So with the second Frostbolt, with the Firelands Portal, and the Fireball, and the Glyph still, you know, they may have an opportunity here to find lethal if they can find ice blocks, but that's also been a concern of theirs in their talk.
Well, we have an opportunity to Shadow Step Bone Mare and add more damage to 6/6.
Which I like. Stack it up.
5, so that gives them enough mana to play Edward Van Cleef. I mean, that's a pretty big board. You have a 10/10, a 5/5, a 6/6. That's like 42 of stats, plus the 8 on the board from the 6/2 as well. Wait, I believe that's if an enemy minion's frozen, draw a card. Cold Wraith actually highlights, I think, an orange if that's the case, if it's conditions met. Bam! 20 of stats.
That's a lot of stats. Team Liquid. They still have ways to stall, though. There's no burst from Complexity.
I mean, if we play Acolyte, they can even just Vile Spine it, right? And then we're still in
That's
trouble.
why I'm more inclined to go with the Glyph.
Yeah, same. I like Glyph more.
Glyph.
So what can we get with Glyph?
AI, barrier, block.
Barrier, block, yeah.
It rises.
Yeah, we just need to find block. That's a block, very expensive one.
I think it might just be Potion and Poly. I don't know.
Yeah, it's poly because if you play Leroy, we're like stalling, right? Right? I mean,
Don't play around it, but yeah.
no. What does like Glacial Mysteries do?
We're not picking Glacial Mysteries.
No. Yeah.
Are you sure? I mean, we could go Glacial plus Nova 1 turn, and then we get the stall potentially.
Rather go like Acolyte Ping and draw naturally or something.
Okay, all right.
6 mana.
I mean, I feel like Potion doesn't do anything really, because they can play around it.
How? Like only this and a cycle doesn't. That way they can't kill us.
Oh yeah, that's
I
true.
think go Firefly, right? Firefly, Leroy SI.
Oh yeah. I mean, they still need the 1-drop this way though, so I think I'm.
It was the best pick.
Yeah.
Face just to see first.
Yeah, hit face with a dagger. God. So you play the smallest guy first? Or do we just develop Karen? Yeah,
We don't want to just play Can. We want to see the secret, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So which minion? Prince or?
It's probably just Prince, because like if they get that, we don't care.
Yeah, I'm okay with Prince.
We should not play deckhand here because of Copeland.
Mm-hmm. It's just Prince Karen, I think. Prince in the middle.
Play Prince and see.
Somewhere.
We might Slayer if it's.
Oh.
Okay. Karen, right? Yeah, Karen. Karen's sticky, because like if one minion survives, then yeah, we pop.
Good. I even like the Fireflies one.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. That's not it.
People.
Shot lethal.
Yeah. So just Acolyte Pink. I will
bad,
still
man.
never win though.
Speak to me.
Okay, play block.
Block. Frostbolt face, or it doesn't matter. Might as well, right?
We need to do something, right? Like,
Yeah.
we need to get there eventually. I don't know how we're gonna get there.
So we need to draw Glyph for second block into stuff.
That's a good second block,
Yeah.
basically.
First, right? We always
Yeah,
want to see this
you
Burglar
play
card.
Burglar?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure we trade in the 1-1, the 1-2, and the 5-3 all into the Slayer, just to make board space.
Wait,
for later.
what?
So you trade the. I mean, pretty
1,
sure.
1, 2, and what else?
And the bone mare all into the false
But
blind.
you-
I'm pretty sure.
No, I would trade the can as well. I want to pop him lower.
Yeah, exactly.
Bone Mare face first. Let's see.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah. But we don't need to pop him at 1 here.
No, but I like popping. Just trade away the 1/1.
Yeah,
Trade the 1-1.
I like this.
Yeah. I totally agree with this.
Okay. We have 1 board space. Yeah.
This is fine.
I was just worried if they can somehow freeze the board and we don't have board space, but we have 1. Yes.
Okay.
Let's go.
Nice.
So if Mage was their best pick here,
CompLexity able to grab a crucial victory, and that's 2 in a row with the Rogue. And we've seen Rogue do some big damage. It took 6 weeks of mediocrity for Rogue to start climbing into win percentages, one of the worst performing classes in Trinity Series. And now finally living up to its top of the tier list reputation that it has. People are saying Rogue is the best deck in the game right now.
It's very strong for sure. And now that CompLexity's broken serve with the Rogue, this is quite important for CompLexity, because now Team Liquid has to answer this back, and it's a super important for game for them at that point. If they do not beat the Rogue in the next game, CompLexity is at a massive advantage afterwards. So this next game is quite pivotal for both teams.
Right. And, CompLexity would be the 3rd repeat team for the Trinity Series Finals with a victory here. We have Virtus Pro and we have Team Liquid all but guaranteed their spot. And if CompLexity is able to get it, that means 3 out of the 4 teams that we had are the same. In fact, Planet Odd would be the only team in the top 4 that's not a repeat performance, and they're just a new team. They didn't even have a chance.
That's right.
Be very fitting. However, if Team Liquid wins here, CompLexity falls to the bottom half, and that means Team Love You Lots, another repeat team, would make an appearance in the top 4.
Yeah, effectively a repeat team. Frozen was replaced with Muzzy in this season, and they're no longer under the banner they were last season. But this next game is super important. Typically, teams are going to bring 2 different ways to fight against Rogue. And since Team Liquid won the first game, what that means is I think they get one more chance here. One more good chance.
Uno mas. When you say one more, do you mean the mirror? Because that's about to happen.
Well, sometimes that's the best reasonable way to fight off against Rogue. You know, maybe they've included Galaka Crawlers, or in this case, an Elemental package, which can fight quite good in the mirror match.
I mean, I kind of like Blaze Callers in the mirror. Because you get like 2 more Bone Mares effectively. Because the whole point of Bone Mares is so that you can push damage, or you can make a big trade. And Blaze Caller functionally does kind of the same thing, but it gives you a lot of burst from hand that they can't always account for either.
Yeah, it's a little bit of extra burst in the right scenario. It can act as like a pseudo Bone Mare or like a big Vile Spine Slayer if you have an Elemental chain going. It is some situational play, and I think it weakens some of your matchups. But overall, the way that decks fight right now, I think it's quite powerful. The one worry I think they have in this matchup is an opposing Cairn. Cairn is quite a powerful card when it comes to these styles of matchups, and I am somewhat surprised that CompLexity is not keeping it in their hand, given that.
Yeah, that's something that I talked to Purple about, and I was like, "What matchups do you throw Cairn back?" And he said, "Wait, we throw Cairn back?" That's the response that I got.
Yeah. I mean, it's an extremely powerful card in a lot of matchups, and in the Rogue matchup specifically, the whole goal is to continuously fight for board, and Cairn works overtime in that department.
Ever since then, I kind of never throw Cairn back, and I win a pretty good amount of my games. I don't win as much as I'd like to, but that's because I'm not Purple. That being said, I do feel like in some cases, especially if you're on the play, I can justify throwing it back, considering that it's still very far away, and so much can happen to the point where Cairn doesn't matter, especially if your opponent has a Cobalt Scalebane.
Yeah.
It almost nullifies Cairn completely.
3-drops are quite pivotal, and that card does fight particularly well against it, but I think going first definitely has still some merit to keeping Cairn. I mean, the big problem you would run into is if your opponent has like a coin into 5 on turn 4, and then has another 5-drop to follow that up. Like that suddenly is where Cairn, you look at it and you go, why on earth did I keep this card in my hand? But for the most part, I think I intend to keep it in this matchup if I have stuff to do early on. Ooh. Defias Ringleader is quite a good card in this matchup, I'd say.
It's a name I haven't heard in a while. Yeah, it sets up multiple targets, so that way if you're able to tuck it behind stuff, it can help you activate Bone Mares. It's cheap enough to give you some combos.
And I'm curious to see how CompLexity plays this turn as well. I mean,
I just remember Defias Ringleader was the old tempo rogue. You coined Defias Ringleader into a victory.
It was like a bad Saronite Chain Gang. It used to be a 2-2 on the token it made, though.
It was just so nuts. It used to be a 2-3, I thought.
Was it a 2-3?
I thought Defias Ringleader was a 2-mana 2-3 or something 2-1. No, you might be right.
I think wasn't it both iterations?
No, I need to look this up now. Let's go ahead and tune in. And I'm going to go some Wikipedia dive.
It's awkward now.
We want to pull out patches though, right?
I kind of want to swash here.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, and just redagger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
That's what I like.
I want to swash here.
It's never double one.
I'm thinking about it, but probably not.
I feel like I'd always save a 1-drop, right, for the Slayer eventually. Like it's so ridiculously relevant in this matchup. So like even if
Reaper kill 1/1.
Yeah, sure. Kill the left one, right? So they can't shadow step it or something.
they're trying really hard to keep this coin. I feel like they have coin Valspine or coin 5. They have something. They have a 5 for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a Slayer.
So many
I mean, it's
options.
probably still just like Deckhand SI, right? Or do you want to play something like Chain Gang?
Wait, why do you... I don't like
Actually-
SS7 here at all.
Actually, just Shaku Flame at least. Okay. Or
Yeah, I
just
just
Shaku.
For me, it's Shaku Flame Elemental or Serenite.
Or
Yeah,
Or
Serenite.
one drop
as well.
Edwin, but if we Serenite, we have like 1/1 Edwin next turn. And then we have double 3 on 6, and one of them is stealth, so we can bone metal
Too
stealth.
soon.
I actually like Serenite.
Yeah, I think I like
I
Serenite.
like Serenite too. Yeah, what I think about.
Like playing Shaku on 6 when we get it now, so it seems really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just the same treatment.
We can also just go Firefly,
Serenite.
Firefly, Defy us.
That's what I'm looking at right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also looking at Tar Creeper into Firefly.
Yeah. No, actually, maybe Tar Creeper into Firefly is better. It makes it super awkward, right?
Yeah.
Building, and then one of them gets buffed, and then we can go coin second Firefly into.
You know, the only thing about this is that we kind of use all our elementals. Because if we go Tar Creeper, Firefly, and then we go like coin Valspine or Firefly.
We only have like one. We only have 2 things that are elementals that
Yeah,
get benefit,
yeah.
right? So we're not too
Yeah.
concerned.
Yeah, I'm done for Tar Creeper, Firefly.
Yeah, me too.
Play in the middle.
That pro positioning, playing around that betrayal.
Yeah.
Easy. This is actually relevant here in this.
There it is.
Team Liquid is holding their coin for a long time, and you can hear that CompLexity even has read it earlier on. They're saying, well, they've got to have coin Valspine or coin 5. And in this case, they're correct on both ends, but they've been saving coin even more. And when you save coin for so long, it kind of shifts the hand reading to, oh, maybe they're preparing for a bone mirror of some kind. So how can we best disrupt that in the next 2 turns?
I mean, look at the board tension that's being built. This is what I'm looking at. Holy smokes, this is
Yeah.
a very awkward position. When
It's
tons of minions,
oddly unsatisfying because Patches is not in the middle of the 2 standard chain gangs, but that can't be helped. But I just want to point out that there was a good opportunity for some symmetry, and I'm thoroughly unsatisfied. Continue.
Too soon.
the more minions gets on the board, the more decisions players have to make from a combat standpoint. When there's 4 minions on each side, you already just from a single attack on each minion have 16 different options. Now that's negated when taunts are there. But look at what's happening. This is just so weird. I'm uncomfortable looking at this.
Yeah, this is... Oh, man, another Vilepspine. Oh, wow. So they can double Vilepspine over 2 turns. They can coin Vilepspine of some kind this turn. They could also Vilepspine the next turn. They also have an opportunity to set up a Scale Bane under relatively safe pretenses, but the Edwin is a big threat to run away with the board if they're able to leverage a Vilepspine Slayer. So we'll see what Team Liquid chooses to do here.
Vilepspine. This is just insane.
This is kind of another thing, too, about like the consequence of not keeping even a single charge of Dagger, because Southsea Deckhand would have really helped this board, too. And it's going to be the same case next turn as well. They wish they had the Dagger up.
Now, something that's happening, though, is that CompLexity is working towards a Bone Bear turn. So can they find that payoff in the face of these Vilepspines? Let's listen in and find out how they plan this.
No, right? We want to have Shaku on the board for Bone Mirror.
So Shaku SS7?
Yeah, I'll do that.
SS7 on the Tar Creeper?
So many
Yeah.
options.
Remember to position like against betrayal. I think that's the
Yeah.
only positioning thing.
So we play SS7 on the left side?
Yeah, Shaku between the 2 3s, I guess.
Yeah.
Something like this.
This guy's toast.
We don't... Yeah, we just wait.
You can think about the patches into the 3-5. because it gets formed by the 1/2 anyways.
But we might
Just the-
bone man to this, right?
Yeah.
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 I think we should pass.
Too. They're really good.
Yeah, I like saving white spine.
We have to shut off a unit though.
I mean, we can't even go Cobalt Swaths, right? We get more stats on board like this. Isn't it better against Bone Mare? To get more stats on board? And we can also find something.
Serenite's like kind of more stats, almost like the Creeper
But
could use.
isn't it just like free trades though, the Saronite?
Serenite is stopping a lot of damage though, because they can't get through.
Yeah, but what are we protecting though?
Yeah, that's true. They don't do anything.
Choose soon.
A Swash Skillbane. I'm gonna
Yeah,
swap.
I'd go Swash Gilbane. Yeah. Okay, so if they go, what do we want to buff? Okay, that's good. That's only bad against Valspine, I'd say.
It's bad. We want it on the 1/2. I think kills everything anyways, right? Like it's kind of irrelevant. Technically, I guess, but
I don't think we want it on the 1/2 because then you just throw Battles and Dagger in, and then it doesn't do anything, right?
So many options.
No, you want to trade the Bone Mare target into the Tar Creeper, and then you want to kill
No,
all
I
the
don't
small
think.
guys.
Do we? I actually don't think so. I think
Because then
the small guys are going into something else and dying. I think
I
the
think we
small
want
guys
to
should go
bone man
into.
to the 5/5, right?
Yeah, no, I think definitely the small guys need to kill the Tar Creeper here.
You can
Yeah.
ignore the 5/5 though. If you clear everything and ignore the 5/5, then the Bone Mare is.
Okay, that might also be something.
Right? So just like you just
Yeah, I actually agree with some.
Okay, do that.
just Bone Mare the Shaku, right? And then put it into the 6/5, and then make all the value trades with the
Wait,
small
why
guys.
do we not bone man the 2/3?
Oh, you're right. Right. Yeah. And then make all the value trades, and then just ignore the.
Tiger Serenite deckhands. Wow, spine.
We don't want a Valspine here, do we?
Funny here. We're daggering deckhand and Serenite. It's the only play. And it's
Sure,
also our Serenite,
yeah.
which is really
Yeah.
good.
Uh-huh.
That seems very good.
Many.
Seems
The
good.
thing is, we leave up the Bone Mare and we leave up the Shadow Step potential. We also take 6 here.
I mean, I don't think we care that much about the Shadows. We have the Valspine, right? So,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll do it then.
Yeah.
How long can this go on?
alright, good. Kill the
Go on.
SI agent. Real good.
We got it. Not gonna mess up again.
The shadow steps are kind of sad.
What if we
we-
just scale Bane and Captain and trade 5/5 into the 2/3?
I was thinking of shadow stepping the bone man.
Yeah, because a Shadow Step doesn't get better. Is the problem.
Yeah.
And then trade with the 1/1. We could actually think about bone marring the South Sea Cap.
But then the scale Bane might buff the other guy again. I don't know. I think we should probably kill it off.
Choose soon.
I think you Shadow Step the Skillbane.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, you
Oh,
trade
yeah, Shadow Step.
the Bone Mare. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, just kill the 5/3. I think.
Yeah. This hits hard.
On here, it doesn't get better.
Yeah.
Work.
But
Yeah,
we stab, right?
Stab the captain, take 3.
And wise one. Yeah. Seems
Yeah.
good.
So many.
What's the positioning a bit? Actually, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's just
Put the dragon in the middle, I guess.
us. Otherwise,
We don't want them to kill our dragon, right? So
Team Liquid's going to climb so far ahead of CompLexity that I don't think that there's light at the end of the tunnel for our boys in red and black here. I think Team Liquid's able to cruise to a victory, and I think there's a couple things that go into play. It's one, their patience with Valspine Slayer. They've had multiple options or opportunities to drop the second one and try to tempo back. CompLexity picks up their second Shadow Step, and they already had one off of the Swashbuckler. That stings. Or the Shaku, excuse me. That stings.
Yeah, they've had a tough time setting up. I do think last turn they could have set up stronger by actually just playing Cobalt and Captain and Shadow Stepping to Bone Mare and keeping it for this turn, where they would be able to play their second Cobalt and then Bone Mare that. Yeah. The question then, though, is does Team Liquid even play Vilespine if that's the case? Given the hand from Team Liquid, I don't think CompLexity had a way out of this one, but I think they could have set up a stronger position. But the big story is double Vilespine Slayer dominating the mirror match. Team Liquid's queue up of Rogue pays off.
Yeah, and you can also see that Team Liquid was able to play very adaptive to their opponents, and there's a lot of hand reading going on too. And bottom line, being able to leverage the coin in opportune spots is really what defines a lot of that matchup in the mid stages of the game. And another thing too is that you're talking about some of those plays. They could have been changed a little bit. I don't think the outcome would have altered at all, like because we saw the second Valspine Slayer would have landed anyways on a giant captain if that was the case. But it's definitely worth thinking about, and CompLexity even sounded a little bit unsure. I do want to give a nod that I feel like Tyler is doing a really good job identifying some really strong alternative lines that end up being just a little bit better than some of the immediate plays that they spot. And so even despite the fact that CompLexity lost that game, I felt like they played fairly well.
I think that's one of Tyler's strongest suits is combat and where the board sits.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen situations where in the late game scenarios where it's about resource partitioning and should you save this for this card and what scenario are we trying to set up later on. Crane and Mr. Yagut have much more practice there, and he typically leaves the decision up to them. But when it comes to these combat scenarios, he is on top of spotting what the most efficient way to snag board is. They did a great job at some point in there, but again, Vilespines just shut down everything they did.
I could take a look at Tyler right now as we might see maybe a Shaman queue up perhaps or something else from CompLexity. Tyler, of course, one of the points leaders for Europe, did not manage to snag a last call spot, but boy did he make a run for it. Give Kaiku, I don't know how to say his name, so I'm going to mess it up. Kaiku.
I think it's Kaiku.
Kaiku, as well as Sinto, definitely making him sweat a little bit. But of course, Tyler has his own stream and his own audience, and people really appreciate him. He's actually even thinking about dipping into Wild a little bit this month because he's been conquering Standard so easily. He's not as much of a challenge for him anymore.
Boy, what a life.
Wow.
You're like, this is too easy. Let me try something harder.
But for guys like Tyler and all those players that we mentioned who, unfairly get labeled as grinders, it's like they've played thousands and thousands of games, and we're not saying that as an exaggeration. They post their stats, and maybe in just like a couple seasons they can play anywhere from 1 to 5,000 games.
It's definitely true. I mean, they play a lot of Hearthstone, and that's part of the way that he broke into the tournament scene, was dedicating a large portion of time specifically to competing. If you compete and you are high enough, people will take notice if there's enough attention to it. Here we're taking a look at the Rogue wins, and it's pretty low across the board, but one of the reasons that's the case is because we often see a lot of Rogue mirror matches early on in sets, and then also decks are typically dedicated to fighting specifically against Rogue right after it takes a win.
Well, CompLexity, you can see why they want to queue Shaman into the Rogue. The reason why is because they have Galaka Crawler in it. First time we'll be seeing Shaman today, by the way. Shaman was self-banned in one series, and now we get to see... Oh, and then the other team swept the quest winner, so it didn't matter. Now we get to see if Galaka Crawler and crew can pull the victory here. And, interesting enough, Team Liquid's got one of those hands that they're not very pirate-dependent early on. And it could be a story of CompLexity just playing River Crocolisk.
Yeah. Now, that being said, the timing aspect of Galaka Crawler is quite important. But CompLexity's got a South Sea Captain. And this is something that I was that was literally talking. Who was I talking with this about? I forgot who it was, but I said Bloodsail Corsair's awful. I really want another pirate in here, and they said,
"Wasn't that me?"
No, I don't think it was. I think we did talk about this, but it was last week. I forget who was talking about this about. I really wish I remembered.
I was casting with you last week.
It might have been Ike actually.
Oh, okay.
And I said South Sea Captain. I think would be a great inclusion to Shaman. It's like you never want to play Manatide Totem. You want another way to get patches out, and you also want to be able to push your board and take advantage of Bloodsail Corsair. And he was, and I want to say it was Ike, but I can't be 100% certain. And he said, "Go for it." And I ended up trying it for a bit, and I was like, this is quite good. The problem with it at the end of the day for me was that I was still Shaman.
Have you tried Prince Tal'Daram builds?
I have. I tried
really
a lot
fun.
of those.
They're really fun because you get to copy Flame Tongue Totems, or you get to copy your opponent's stuff, or you get to copy your own things and evolve it.
I personally
enjoyed it a lot.
I was a big fan of Cult Master in those decks very early on, but what ended up happening is as I moved up ladder, my opponents got stronger and stronger, and since they paid so much more attention to killing my board, I was never getting Cult Master value. So I ultimately determined it was a great card against weaker opponents and a poor card against stronger opponents.
I mean, maybe it causes a chain reaction because we reevaluate all our card draw mechanisms. You know what we should put in our Shaman decks? Azure Drake. I'll just go back into Wild and start putting Azure Drake. How sick was that card?
Every deck would play Azure Drake right now.
Team Liquid is with the, starting off pretty slow. Let's see how they're going to navigate these future turns here.
As long as we can.
Yep.
Yeah, Siren Knight counters the Volk pretty hard as well.
It's also generally very good because like they don't feel happy like Jade Lightning it. It's awkward with even with a Jade close, they still need the 1 damage, which is not always easy to find. I think it's good. So we go Chain Gang over 1 drop Edwin, right? Unless we draw Backstab, I guess. Then we can think about it. Most likely. Yeah, most likely their turn now is it's store and pass, right? Or maybe they just jump the Golaka, but I doubt it.
Kills it with the Flame Tongue, it means... Or
I actually
Patches
agree.
also kills...
I agree.
There is little time.
Watching it.
Oh.
Second clause.
How long can this go on?
Yeah.
Let's think about it. Let's think about it. Cliff is kinda weak. Shaku 1 drop is also kinda weak to Golak, I think.
Half the power if we play Shaku. And Siren Knight's just good.
Yeah, Sharon's just good. Let's go.
Question is whether or not we kill a Firefly. I think we do.
I think we do. It's also better against Flame Tongue, right?
Yeah.
If they have like Flame Tongue into Pirate or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think we kinda have to.
Yeah, if you clear, what do? They have to...
The only good Flame Tongue turn as well, right? It's just that we can't coin out Aya.
Yeah.
I like it anyways, though.
So
Yeah.
just, yeah. Play the captain first.
Trust the pirate's code. I'm in charge now.
How often do you see this, by the way? The fact that CompLexity doesn't have a Galactic target and has to not play it to avoid eating their own South Sea Captain. Pretty amusing. But,
Big thing here for me is the tempo swing of this South Sea Captain.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. 5-3 is serious for Team Liquid.
It is, but they don't actually have legitimate follow-up for turn 5. And if Team Liquid takes it very slow, play Shaku in this position, for example, instead of double Pirate Edwin.
Shaku Dagger.
Yeah.
I like this a lot, too.
This sets up a kind of a weak turn for CompLexity because they don't want to eat their own captain.
And I would think I would like for Team Liquid to hold the dagger attack here. Jades are above 1-1 at this point. And the other thing to note is that if they attack this Flame Tongue and a healing totem gets rolled, they wasted a dagger charge that they're not likely to make up the next couple turns.
Yeah, but I would like the dagger if the upside is to play Swashbuckler Valspine next turn because they get patches out. So they have a patches plus a dagger
True
shot
story.
to kill the Flame Tome.
Consequences and benefits.
And
of
also, it means your opponent hero power that next turn instead of develop.
That's also a true story.
Complex is a dead turn. Well, it's not completely dead, but it can effectively feel dead.
I'm quite liking the evolve here, I think.
Hero power, evolve, and then Galaka Crawler.
I don't know if I played the Galaka Crawler, but I'm fairly certain I like the evolve. And the reason is because they're going into Aya and then 2 Bone Mares afterwards. They could hold the evolve and just look for the Bone Mare and then turn 8 and use the Bone Mare evolve, but I think I like stuff on board.
Here we go. Ooh, a Silithid Swarmer is very, very poor for Complexity.
That's quite awkward.
Hey, you know what, though? I mean, let's say their entire board gets cleared for that. That's a pretty high health target for Bone Mare at the very worst. And they just can't get through.
Watcher.
It's like the old Ancient Watcher. What happens if Rogue clears everything? You need to Bone Mare something.
I think I'm playing the Galaka Crawler here. The more I look at this, the more I want more damage on board to fight with.
Yeah. It also feels fairly obvious at this point that this is a Galaka Crawler. You're not concealing
In the
information.
base of Vile Spine, how are you clearing the Shaku if you don't play it? That's what my major concern is here. And so now Vile Spine onto the Ghastly Conjurer and attack with Shaku means that Shaku's living.
Do you want to see something? You want to hear something pretty fancy? Okay. I was saying if they want a Vile Spine, they have Swashbuckler, trade in patches with everything, and then they can Shadow Step Swashbuckler, save the 0 mana for like a threatened Bone Mare, and then give 0 targets with Galaka Crawler. I just want to say that Complexity has been keeping a card that they've held from the very beginning. They floated 2 mana last turn and thought about it for a very long time. That if they had 2 mana as a playable card, they absolutely would have tossed into the Evolve.
Wow. I mean, they're playing Aya Blackpaw rather than Galaka Crawler anyway.
But it was just, if I'm Team Liquid, I know they have Galaka Crawler.
Well, let's go ahead and listen into Liquid. They choose not to attack with Shaku last turn, and I'm curious how they're going to play out the rest of this.
Boxer is a good card. Oh. Yeah, it's just this, right?
Huh?
The only thing that's scary is like the Evolve, right?
Evolve, we get a 5-drop, a 6-drop, and a 2-drop. That's pretty good. And we're clearing it.
Devolve is kind of good for us, I'd say.
Yeah. Okay.
We're killing everything but the 2/2 and the 5/3. Like we're killing the 2/6 and the 1/4, right?
Yeah. Which one do we? Yeah, we always do that, right? Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
But it's fine. It's all a really strong board.
Okay, I'll play back 1 sec.
You're waiting so eagerly to Galaka.
Yeah, and trade that into the Shaku and trade Aya into the...
Wait, we trade the Iron to the 6/5 and then...
Oh, yeah.
Same, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No. The 2/2 survives as a 6/1.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what I mean. The things.
I'm just gonna pretend a little bit, because we hesitated so much, they have a decent read on Crawler, so I'm gonna make it seem like that's not Crawler.
Yeah, sick. You have 7 mana and you play Bone Mare.
So one thing...
I want to save the health and just play the Swash here.
Yeah, I want to patch into that guy.
Yeah, let's do that.
But
Swash if you want, and then play like Edwin Unbound. Or they can't Galaka. But I mean, that's kind of dumb. We'd rather just Shadow Step the...
We don't even need to. Let's start with Swash. We do it anyway, right?
yeah.
Master Revolution.
We can do it on the Pirates so they don't. Now we Valspine over that though.
No, what we could go Shadow Step on the Swash, play it again, master it, and then play Edwin.
Isn't it fine if we just like trade the Kernin, Vals on the other guy, and then...
Yeah, it's probably safer. Like, what are they going They need double evolve them, pretty much.
Yeah, and even then, we still just sidestep the Valspine and assassinate again.
Yeah.
Times 1, or do you want to read Dagger?
And I want to play some stuff.
Yeah, Fireflies.
Yeah, let's play some stuff, sure.
This game has so many options on the rogue side that it's actually kind of mind-blowing how many alternative lines that they could have taken. You know, they have the option of playing around Galactic Crawler, which is something they were considering, like, oh, should we Shadow Step our 1/1? Or should we evolve our 1/1 and then play a 6/6 Van Cleave? It's like, or should we go wide onto the board?
Should you ever Shadow Step your Valspine now and ensure that you have it for next turn?
Right.
They had Dan and I were debating about 15 different lines that they had on their turn.
And they're all viable to a certain extent.
And typically what that boils down to is Team Liquid's winning. If they have that much different stuff that they can do, that all looks good.
Right. And CompLexity is in a very awkward spot because their mana efficiency has been largely thwarted by these Galactic Crawlers. And also, you know, the longer they wait, the further they fall behind on board. They don't get to guarantee proactive Bone Mare trades, except Silithus Warmer can't attack anyways. It's just an Ancient Watcher. And then, you know, they see a Vilespine on board, so if they set up a big board, it just can get Vilespine anyways.
Oh my!
Look at me, look at me. I'm the shaman now.
That is... Oh my gosh, Dan, it's over! They are dead! Stop! Somebody stop it!
15, 20. Can they Shadow Step Blazecaller? They can.
And they can just play it again next turn.
Yeah. They just they go all face and Shadow Step Blazecaller. They have lethal.
Holy moly! Slow down, Team Liquid!
Oh my gosh. It's 20 damage this turn.
Their goal is to cross-check and make sure that there's nothing they die to.
Right. Bloodlust, like patches, Bloodlust, but their opponent rates summon patches.
Some weird devolve again
and
into Bloodlust.
The positioning kind of like, oh, so the sword can't attack anyway, so why does that matter?
If your opponent had exactly Devolve, Jade Claw, Bloodlust next turn, that could be a way for you to lose. So rather than risk that, they're just going to squash everything, and this is probably the exact same win rate, if not more.
Right, and then also by keeping Blazecaller on the board, you get to attack and Shadow Step.
I famously heard someone once say, when you're ahead, get more ahead. And that's just exactly what Team Liquid did. Just kill all their stuff efficiently.
Well, I'm looking at alternative lines here, and if CompLexity actually does Bone Mirror, they're 3/5.
Oh, the Vilespine's gone.
Yeah, they actually, I think they survive.
Shadow Step? Does that change anything? They survive, but I mean, do they? Maybe they get an evolve.
No, they do survive. They do survive. That's the case. Oh no, they have lethal anyways. Yeah, right, because they double trade those minions, and then Blazecaller attacks face, and then
roll a taunt totem.
Yep. Either way, I think I'm bone marrying my Silithus Warmer. It's come down to this.
You remember back in the day we used to use Ancient Watchers over Wild Growth?
Oh yeah. That's game. Team Liquid has the Shadow Step.
Wow.
Jeez.
What an unfortunate devolve for CompLexity. It's a risk you take when you play those styles of effects.
But let's be real. Even if without the devolve, Team Liquid had Big Van Cleef. They had elemental synergies with Shadow Step. They have Master Evolution as well.
Wait, what's going on here? They see a different route for lethal?
Just SI the 7/9 and
they don't want to show the second Shadow Step sometimes.
That's true.
I've played plenty of lists with one. Rogue, I think, is the deck that I've made the most minor adjustments to, and none of them ever work for me.
Rogue is a class that you can do all the fancy stuff, and it just does it. Man, I can't even really pick out the right thing, but basically you can definitely be way too fancy with Rogue compared to some other classes.
Well, that serve is returned, and now Team Liquid takes 2 games with Rogue and are back to a 3-2 lead. This is a key series for CompLexity. Team Liquid's already got their spot in the top 4. They are looking to play the spoiler here and knock out last season's champions. If CompLexity does not win, they are not in the top 4.
Yeah, and we were kind of talking about what it's like to be Team Liquid and be in a bad spot, but now we're back in the same situation for Team CompLexity, because they tried to answer Shaman, and they had the initiative, and they even had double Galaka Crawler, and we've been seeing teams play around it. Because Team Liquid knew for a long time. They were even considering it every step of the way. It's got to be Galaka Crawler.
Was it a good design after all? So many people I've heard criticize the design of Hungry Crab and Galaka Crawler, myself included. And
when you say criticize, you say you don't like it.
I initially did not, and the more that I've seen it, it just changes the dynamic of how you play the game.
Right.
And those are my favorite cards. They're the cards that change the way you think about how you play the game. And it turns out Galaka Crawler is very much a card that does that.
Well, you know, specifically this interaction where your opponent knows that you have Galaka Crawler, even if they weren't given any explicit information about it. It's all indirect, saying, well, these are some of the symptoms of what's happening, and can you guess I have Galaka Crawler? And for example, do I need to play the Pirates? And if I do, is it too late for it to matter? Because Galaka Crawling, if you play the Crawler on turn 1 and 2, it can just win the game.
Oh,
but
yeah.
if you Galaka Crawler on 8 or 9, I mean, is that really a big deal? It's just 2-mana 3/4.
Can be, but the
Getting
key one is
damage.
shutting off the key turns from your opponent. You know, I look back to the Shaku being on board where CompLexity had the 1/4 taunt in play, and they floated 2 mana and they didn't play Galaka Crawler. If they'd played that Galaka Crawler, Shaku was not attacking at all that turn, period. Now, maybe that's something they wanted to happen, but they know they're playing Eye of Blackmaw the next turn, unless there's just a giant pirate that hits the board. So I am kind of curious if holding the Galaka Crawler on their turn 5 in that game was something they maybe should not have done. The benefit of it, of course, is that you get a 2/3 in play that can attack. The consequence is that then if your opponent plays South Sea Captain, does it hurt you too much? And
Let's
now
go
Mage.
ahead and flip the tables. CompLexity now has the Mana Worm and the Pyroblast, but they get the luxury of mulliganing those away. Team Liquid, of course, going to look for an aggressive start if possible. I'm not really liking any of those cards, to be honest.
Well, I've noticed that aggressive starts can apply a lot of pressure. Oh, my. What were you saying about Mana Worm and Archaeologist paired earlier?
It is the 2 highest win rate cards in Mage.
Now, does Team
by a
Liquid,
mile.
do they want an aggressive start, or do they want something that can pressure and also generate value? I am quite curious, because in this matchup, I have yet to be on the winning side for Rogue. You know, there's a fair number of games that I win. And from the Mage's side, I noticed I lose the most when my opponent has extreme amounts of value. And you want to talk about extreme amounts of value, it is Prince Keleseth and Shadow Step specifically versus Mage.
Jeez. That's kind of hard to come back from if you're the Mage deck. However, Rogue can gas out, because if after Prince Keleseth, what is Team Liquid going to do after they summon their 3/3 patches? They're just going to pass?
The natural strength of your draw at that point. And you do think about SI7 Agent Captain, suddenly not vulnerable to Frostbolt and Medivh's Valet. The Cobalt Scalebanes don't get mopped up by Flame Strikes. That's a tough game for CompLexity coming up, but let's hear Team Liquid play this Keleseth.
I want to hear Crane Baby Rage right now.
I don't think he would favorite that much, but he would be upset for sure.
I think you do that, the glyph, just so that you can like at least get the value trade in.
You don't just want to use the coin then?
No, coin is more valuable, right?
But
Like, I mean,
you play
just-
the Acknowledge, put out the secret as well. Or like you get the secret, and you get another minion.
Wait, you want to Archaeologist and coin or what?
I think the coin's too valuable. I think you don't need to secret on 3. I think you might even just Doomsayer on
But
3.
you also draw it. But like if he plays Patches out, then Doomsayer doesn't do anything. If we go with Acknowledge's coin, we trade, then at least we can kill Patches.
I think it's glyph, honestly. I really don't want to. I think with our hand, we have enough removal. I think the coin's just valuable.
Guys don't just use it, no. But guys don't keep it. Fireball.
One of the two.
Fireball, yeah.
I like getting patches out personally.
Yeah, it seems
Now let's
very
do
good.
the deck play.
Yep, so we don't draw it actually.
And smack him in the face, right?
Yep.
Oh,
But the heat.
I like 0 mana 3/3s that come out of the deck. They feel good.
With charge.
Yep, with charge too. Man, we also gotta.
What to do? What
Doomsayer
to do?
coin ping.
Yeah, that's my first instinct.
Mine too.
I want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The end is coming!
No, don't attack with dagger, by the way, Karen. Okay. Yeah, play the guy in the middle. Take on the floor.
Good. How are we so good?
They also use the coin. They really needed this to go off. They use the coin also.
Disgusting, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I can only just fireball.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so too.
An incredible discovery!
Face.
Let's draw first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crits.
Lul. Meteor, they can't play it, so it doesn't matter.
We want to keep our minions more healthy.
Nah, of course we faced it. We face it, right? Yeah, take it. We actually got an unplayable card.
You have to survive till Flame Strike somehow.
At that point, the Flame Strike is not like Flame Strike is not a card. They did double prints. It's just
Yeah.
like their 4-drops have more health than Flame Strike deals. Five, 10. I think I have to fireball and go double 3 next turn.
I think so too.
Okay.
I think the comms kind of tell a big story here. Team Liquid is just laughing all the way to the bank, and CompLexity. I want to start thinking about next game.
Do you commit both SI7 agents here? The one way I think that CompLexity gets back into this is like Blizzard into Flame Strike or Blizzard into Volcanic Potion or something weird like that. This pushes a ton of damage and puts your opponent to the test on having that exact sequence.
Right.
So I'm curious on the merit of holding back there.
Only thing I don't like is the positioning for Meteor, but they've already seen.
They don't want to 5/5 next to the Shaku is the thing.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Oh yeah.
Shaku's just
they're killing
turning out
2 minions no matter what, right?
Now, granted, Shaku has turned out quite poor cards thus far, but we're 2/3 of the way into a Primordial Glyph, so.
What to do?
A couple more Shaku cards, and maybe you can piece together Quest Mage completion. There's not really much going on.
Shaku is one of the cards you can get quests from, right?
No, you can't get quests from any random generated card.
That's weird. I know I've gotten one from somewhere.
Uh,
Crystalline Oracle, I think it was. They mulliganed.
Oh, you stole it from their deck or something?
Yeah, they mulliganed it away.
CompLexity, you can also like Mind Vision stuff, I think. CompLexity does have a way to stall. They can Volcanic Potion set up for Flame Strike and then Ice Barrier to stall for time. They go up to 21. They receive 15 damage. I guess in this case they're going to Mediz Valet.
And this is telling of how in trouble they are. They're preserving as much health as possible.
Yeah, it's curious that they're like trying to shoot down the patches for extra damage, and they let the opponent draw an extra card with Mage. Mage has a ton of damage spells, or even just damage.
A lot of whiffs, though. I mean, that sometimes is a risk that you need to take.
At this point, these are cards just to use with Vilespine Slayer.
Yeah. Well, sans the Glacial Mysteries. But yes.
How about stealing another card? Maybe just playing Blaze Caller for tempo. Your opponent wants to Flame Strike, right?
Seems good to me. That's a 6/6.
Far right?
I think so, yeah.
Sandman at 6/6 is...
Oh, what about like Meteor, though? So like Meteor would leave 10 damage on board if they clear the Shaku off at that point? Yeah. This has been a funny game.
Funny for one team.
Yeah, well, I'm watching.
So they're just dead on board through a Flame Strike. They have the Arcane Intellect.
Yeah, look at it. Almost exactly Frost Nova.
Man, Mage has just not been cutting it today.
Crane's face is saying it all right now.
Increasingly exasperated by just the pressure being generated through these double buffed minions.
I mean, it's not only that. It's think about what this game means. I mean, this is their entire season on the line here in these next couple of games. And they're going to drop down 4-2. They have to win or they're out. That is... It's horrifying when you're getting beaten in this situation.
It's not serious. It's not like game over just yet, though. Like I mean, you're kind of painting as if they lose this game, the series is done.
It's not done, but my gosh, is it way harder.
Yeah, they're in a position where their tiebreakers are so poor that they don't win. They lose the series, they almost are guaranteed out. Team Liquid not going to play a Swashbuckler, just kind of saving just in case they need a Hail Mary combo enabler. Frost Nova is part of it. Frostbolt with the face. So if Team Liquid can generate 1 point of damage.
Try number 1.
Ooh, they can backstab there 2-1. Okay.
And I believe that's exactly what they'll do. They want to end the game right here. They don't want any weird shenanigans.
Any day now. Oh my gosh.
That's still pretty good.
Hey, what's funny is that this Frozen clone.
The Brotherhood shall
Well, actually, they don't even need it, because even if they play Alex, they're dead.
Pre-buffed Edwin, thanks to Kellis. Those 2 Kellis he played invested into the Edwin earlier. CompLexity, no out there. And Team Liquid is now on 3 straight games with the Rogue. And it's the matchups now get closer and closer in CompLexity's spot. They have to stop this just about right now.
They've had 2 chances. They picked 2 decks that they felt like were very good against Rogue, and now Team Liquid's running away with it once again. Strong plays, but you also can see some of the effects of the other deck building choices. Fireplume Phoenix Blazecaller is not a package you always put in Rogue. In fact, a lot of people were talking about how bad it was for a while. I remember Muzzy was trying to really push that as like the primary way to maybe play Rogue and climb ladder with, and people were saying, no, that's just wrong. And look at it now. It's doing well. And I think it just shows you that there's pockets for every kind of card that you want to introduce to the high-level meta.
Now, something that's interesting to me is that we've also seen Sarnet Chain Gang, and we've also seen Cairn. And I think a lot of times in the Elemental list, you don't have room for those. I'm curious if they're just running like 1 Blazecaller and 1 Fireplume Phoenix. So, just 1 extra Elemental to supplement the package, and then like the 1 Blazecaller at the top end. I don't know.
It's true. We haven't seen double Blazecaller. It's possible.
Phoenix has been a rare appearance.
Double Shadow Steps. We haven't seen Cold Bloods. That is the first thing that comes to my mind of replacement.
Yeah.
But that still leaves a couple cards if they hit the replace.
I think it's 1-1 on the Phoenix and Blazecaller.
And then the other elementals are Firefly and Tar Creeper.
That's right.
I mean, we didn't see like any other other 3s that can get rotated. And you're talking about like Vicious Fledglings or am I forgetting any other cards? Like the Curator package, for example. Some people put like a Cold Light in it.
Oh yeah, those guys are weirdos.
Yeah, that was cool for a while because I thought, well, I don't really want to play like sprint and prep, but I want to like keep up the card draws because I often find myself out of cards.
It's true. The initial version did play sprint and prep.
Yeah, the Curators seemed like it made sense if you can play Cold Light Oracle in, because a lot of times you could fight back for tempo to the point where you don't care if they draw cards. You just try to bone mare them, but. We'll find out. Do want to remind you guys, by the way, the live final is happening in December, December 8th through 10th. Make sure you book it. And you guys get a double serving of Hearthstone that week, because I believe the Sydney Invitation was also happening as well. Taking a look at the standings of how everything has transpired, CompLexity is currently sitting at 4th, but only by a de facto position of not having played their 7th series. And if they lose this series, let's say they win 3 games but lose the series, they go to 27 and 32, which is not a very good tiebreaker and does put them in the bottom half of the standings.
They need a win, and it's all coming down to this now.
Hunter.
Eagle Hornbow is a fantastic performer versus Rogue. However, Team Liquid has the luxury of Shaku in their corner.
And plays caller again, dude. I don't know. I'm starting to think that there might be multiple base calls. We do know that there's 2 Shadow Steps.
So Team Liquid fishes for SI7 Agent, Backstab, Tar Creeper, and Captain. Kind of curious. I think I like the Shaku.
Do you think there's a world where maybe Team Liquid cut perhaps like a Bone?
No.
What about a Tar Creeper? Even though they're playing Elemental Baggage.
We actually saw 2 Tar Creeper.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Yeah. Wow, great opening hand for Complexity. This is one of the punish scenarios for Complexity, is having Alley Cat, and when your opponent plays a Firefly, you get to place the Scavenging Hyena and trade in both, and then suddenly there's a lot of pressure on board.
What about a good old arena play?
Coin Dagger?
Coin Dagger.
I think it's quite good versus Hunter in particular with this opening. The one thing to think about is how much worse you are versus Crackling Razor Maw and versus Kindly Grandmother. I think overall this is better, but this is a big punish. And back that up to clear through the Tar Creeper.
6-4 on turn 2. And that is pretty intimidating.
You thought Millhouse Mana Storm was good.
I mean, this is how Hunter actually does win against a fair amount of decks. Now, Team Liquid does have some ways to get in the way of this 6-4. They can play this Tar Creeper, but if it gets Kill Command,
which it will,
they're really dependent on something else finding a way out of here.
And this is like perfect for Complexity too. They get to have 2 Kindly Grandmothers to back that up on turn 4, which means at any point that they draw Houndmaster, Tundra Rhino, whatever it's going to be, they get to continue to find payoffs because it's just hard for Team Liquid to clear all that stuff.
I mean, I think everything's looking really good right now for Complexity. Let's go ahead and tune in and see what they're talking about.
We should just... Ooh.
We should just
kill command it.
You just kill commanded at Smack, right?
Yes.
And then double Kinley into another Hyena or something.
Or Hyena Kinley.
Yes.
But that's kill commanded.
Kill command, yes.
Feels bad, man. Deckhand clears it.
Oh, that's good, actually, later.
Accurate.
Yeah, that's Saku.
Yep.
Okay, this thing's gonna kill us.
We can get, like, Hunter's Mark, maybe. That would be sick.
We double Kinley here, right?
We double Kinley here.
Wait,
I'm pretty
why?
sure. Because, like, then he just kills the 1 Hyena for free, right?
Buffs, yeah.
Like, we can just Hyena next turn, right?
We can just Hyena next turn and, like, for sure get that.
Also, we want to
If
get
he
some
kills the
decimal
Hyena, he's
values.
buffing our guy, though. Is it bad?
It's only 1 buff, though. Like, the buff is not
I mean,
relevant
the
enough.
Hyena is getting buffed next turn with the double Kinley.
I think it's double Grandmother for sure.
6.
And it's also, like, just getting the 3-2s down sooner. So, like...
Yeah, I'm sure. Just go double Kinley. We both like it, so...
Teeth I have. Such big teeth I have.
Nice. That's actually our best draw, right?
Yep, we can clear now.
Yeah, draw first. Oh, actually they play Rhino. Oh my god, if they have Rhino, we're dead. Can't play around that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Good flame elements, alright?
Let's draw first. Yeah, but probably the flame element. Yeah.
That works with Karen, right? The Forlorn Stalker.
Yes. It's not like...
Yeah. No, we just...
Okay, we Alley Cat and... I mean, Knife Juggler into Alley Cat first.
No. Why not Hyena first?
But you Juggler first.
Yeah, Juggler first, but before
And
Alley
then you Juggler, and then you Hyena.
Put this apple on your head.
We want to trade our guys, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, we just Alley Cat first, right? So we have higher
Alley Cat
chance of winning
first,
minions.
yeah.
Hey. Schwarz into Unleashed, dude. Let's go.
Double tier 2.
Yeah, they just double trade, get 2 more knives.
Alright, let's see these knives. GG.
We can get Unleashed.
Yeah, let's go. Unleash. Easy.
Pretty sure we still lose, but naturally we don't lose.
Let's go.
Yep. No plus one on this.
Alright, can I bottom right?
Yeah, bottom right.
Yeah, let's go next.
I give up.
Wait, what are we?
Hunter grabs a victory, a crucial one here for CompLexity because it was at the tipping point. And being able to get a win with Hunter too also validates their pick because remember, they chose to exclude their warrior. They self-banned it away from themselves, as which every team is required to do at least one class. And people have a big question mark over Hunter. They're doubters.
Man, why don't my Hunter draws pan out that way? That was fantastic.
Yeah, that was pretty much almost as close to the nuts as possible for like an alley cat opening. There's definitely other permutations of Hunter draws which are just godlike, but in terms of Scavenging Hyena alley cat into another Scavenging Hyena backed by Knife Juggler,
they used all of their mana to get that done.
They played
turn 1 alley cat, turn 2 Hyena, turn 3 Kill Command. After they
turn
traded
4
into Firefly, turn
double
4
Kinleys.
double Kinley Grandmother, and then turn 5 Juggler Hyena, which was another big payoff, and then trades, get the juggles. They literally perfected that game.
It was like a tavern brawl where you like kind of only play 8 cards in your deck type of thing, you know? I think that happened like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
And this is what I want to talk about with draws and decks that are very powerful. Every single deck has powerful draws, or you wouldn't play them. That would be pointless in a competitive setting. Even Hunter,
I want to draw my deck that only has poor draws.
Even Hunter has godlike draws.
I stand by my statement. You heard what I said. So that way I can skillfully outmaster my opponent. Actually, I kind of wonder if there's ever like a deck that ever was created where it just had bad hands all the time.
Yeah, that's called Elemental Shaman.
All right, this is an inside joke between me and Admiral. He was watching the Korean broadcast last night for one of their tournaments where Pavel had to play on stage against his opponent, and his opponent was up 2-0, and he was like pretty hyped up into it. Looked like he was going to sweep last year's champion, the reigning world champion. And then Pavel reverse swept his Elemental Shaman. And the reason why is because that guy didn't bring Druid or Priest or Rogue.
And he went up 2-0 versus Pavel.
He went up 2-0 over Pavel.
Who had Druid and Priest and Rogue.
Yeah. And then, according to Admirable, he said he looked at the mulligan from the Shaman and saw Kalamos the Primal Lord. And said, all right, Pavel's going to reverse.
Oh, yeah, instantly.
Elemental Shaman.
He proceeded to beat him up, too. It was like he got his board Volcano twice. In one game, it was double Volcano Lightning Storm to clear, and then like chained Elementals into Kalamos, and just like, it wasn't even close. I also just hate Elemental Shaman from the start of Ungoro. I thought it was going to be really good, and I played it, and I was like, I can't believe I crafted a golden Kalamos.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty sweet deck.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Very fun, especially if you start doing things like Servant of Kalamos, and you start discovering other elementals. And now another elemental is introduced with Knights of the Frozen Throne and Snow Fury Giant.
And Jade Elemental, or Jade Spirit.
You were there, right, when I was kind of playing some of the early Concede Shamans of Knights of the Frozen Throne? Yes. Where I was like playing Elemental Overload Shaman. I play like Volcano, Servant of Kalamos, and then discover Snow Fury Giants for 0 and play them.
I'm hopeful that there's something in Kobolds and Catacombs that can support that.
I think that's actually a real deck. It's just not good. But like the synergy of how it works together is beautiful. I actually appreciate it. Well, Hunter is kind of like, is I have a Beast Tribe in my tag, and when I search my collection, okay, throw it in. You know, and then like slap a nice Death Knight into it.
Well, this matchup is very difficult for CompLexity, there's no doubt about it. Team Liquid, you notice they mulligan away the quest. It's because they win this matchup via the board. Their main goal is to chew through everything from CompLexity and then be out of reach of burn spells afterwards. That's not the most difficult thing to do, but Crackling Razor Maw can throw a wrench in that. Plus 3 attack, I'm thinking. Oh my. And suddenly things are dicey. So now, the Armor Smith, though.
Armor Smith's pretty huge, but the Crackling Razor Maw is basically the difference between CompLexity having a chance or just getting blown out here.
That's definitely true. I mean, Team Liquid has to save this coin for the Blood Razor, I think.
So you play Armor Smith then?
I think I'm playing Armor Smith to try to bait an attack.
And then coin Razor Maw, or coin Blood Razor?
Yeah, I think so. I think one of the nightmare scenarios you run into is like Rat Pack, maybe? Eaglehorn Bow? No, Eaglehorn Bow is fine.
Well, Misha.
Oh, Misha is very troubling.
It's a disaster if that's the case.
Oh, jeez.
Another option you can do is Stonehill Tar Creeper chains.
Oh, I do quite like Tar Creeper, although Tar Creeper gets punished by exactly what happened last game with the kill command.
Exactly.
You know, maybe you anticipate Deadly Shot as well. I think I'm playing Armor Smith here.
I like Armor Smith too. I think it allows you to keep the coin for flexibility. Because if your opponent just plays pretty slow,
if your opponent has kill command and you coin, you're dead.
Right. But this allows you to play slow as well if you just want to play Tar Creeper instead of coin. Oh man.
Yeah, I think it's Animal Companion though. Leok and Misha are both pretty strong outcomes for you in this spot.
Right, but this also sets up a scenario where if you get Leok and you trade your Crackling Razor Maul in, you're also setting yourself up for a Blood Razor clear. Not clear, sorry, a Blood Razor doing big damage.
Yeah, the Leok stays for the Houndmaster is the key to that. So I think all but the Huffer outcomes are pretty good, and if you get Huffer, I think you contemplate just pushing face. Maybe trade over the 4-1 in that case?
Yeah, I trade the 4-1.
Yeah, I like that actually.
I think I almost trade the 4-1 every time.
Okay, yeah. I think they're all good. Let's listen to CompLexity and hear how they want to do this.
I don't really like. I would play Companion, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. We still trade.
Yeah, the
5-1.
5-1, yeah.
Quickly.
I like Tar Creeper here. So their best play is Houndmaster.
I go Tar Creeper and then hope that they Houndmaster and then we go with Blood Razor. Is that your thought process?
Yeah. It's good to have the coin, like for Primordial. Like the Blood Razor game doesn't do enough, I think.
What now?
Coin Primordial. I'm not thinking we can leave until they do that.
If we lose to Houndmaster and we just punch the 2-4, and then next turn we can clear whatever he plays and just start taunting.
Yes, I agree with that. I think that's what I first saw.
So you like Blood Razor?
Houndmaster. Yeah.
Blood Razor?
Blood Razor punched the 2-4, right?
Yeah.
Say we lose to Houndmaster? Like,
Yeah, we lose to Hearthstone anyway. I don't think we can beat it with this count.
Alright.
I like this one. Next time we just taunt wall after. Like, we're technically down to like 10, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This way we also beat the 2-2.
Yeah.
Tar Creepers, I don't think we win it though.
Nah, yeah, Tar Creeper seems very weak.
Can't face tank. Look at how much.
Yeah, I can't. I
We
wanted
should
them
just
to
Houndmaster the
right?
biggest guy and get him.
Yeah, I agree.
They
Then
take
they can
8,
just-
right?
They can
But
just
they
fish.
take so much time.
They can just fish us though.
If they fishes, they still have to hit the Houndmaster.
So
Yeah, they will.
they
still
take
have-
8 this turn, and then they take 4. So they go down to 6.
Wait, what do you even want to get out of the Razor Maul?
No, I think Houndmaster is much better on the 4-1.
Yeah, I agree, but what
But
do you want to get out of the Razor Maul?
The hyena grows, right? No matter what they hit.
They could just. Well, they can just hit the hyena.
But doesn't it still gets the buff?
No. They hit it, it
Before
dies,
it dies?
first, right? Just Houndmaster the 4-1. I'm
just
pretty
Houndmaster.
sure that's just way better.
Take it with Blood of.
Yeah.
I mean, we could look for fishes, but or execute.
Take 4 still, right? Like.
Okay, good job, guys.
Let's go. We can actually take this. Come on.
Yeah,
Even take
Nozan
it.
has actually pretty good trades against Shaman and Pawn.
Yeah.
They probably go Shaman now.
Yep.
We have to win against Shaman.
That right there is why Hunter, despite all of its flaws and weaknesses and mediocre cards it gets from expansions, is why it still exists in large part today in today's metagame.
Dude,
because it can draw 1, 2, 3, 4 and overpower anything.
These are like turn 5 wins.
Turn 4 wins.
Turn 4 and turn 5 wins for CompLexity in these games. I mean, the Houndmaster was basically the turn 4 win. Team Liquid had to draw perfect, and they didn't. And so now, with Hunter and Paladin remaining, Team Liquid's only got 2 decks left. So they're up here to queue against Hunter strong, so they can manipulate this how they want. But CompLexity just beat Rogue and Taunt Warrior with Hunter.
Yeah, 2 decks that have performed excellently today. Taunt Warrior swept, Rogue has won 5 games in the series, and now we'll see whether or not Shaman or Paladin. 2 classes which are actually pretty good against Hunter.
Well, we saw the Hungry Crab in the very end there. So if it's Murloc Paladin, that will suffer to Hungry Crab at times. Shaman has not been operating very well versus Hunter in this metagame.
You think so?
I don't think it has been.
I think Shaman's excellent against Hunter.
I think it used to be.
I kind of want to check the stats on that, but in the meantime, we'll have Fino coming up here guaranteed because Shaman and Paladin are the only decks remaining for Team Liquid. And a little bit of a scary moment. Team Liquid looked like they were cruising, and just in a matter of 15 minutes, all of a sudden, Team Liquid's and CompLexity are tied up. The advantage is still over on Team Liquid's side because they get to choose the deck, and they, assuming they trade games, will have the final say. But Team CompLexity, you can see the life was being breathed straight into their mouths because Crane was like, well, now this is winnable. We definitely can take this now.
It's a huge back-to-back wins this Hunter.
Yeah.
Of all the decks you would expect it to be that pulls this back as well, I think this is one of the least likely that you would expect.
Well, I mean, they were saved by the Crackling Razor Monitor, too.
Oh, yeah.
Without that, they would have given an extra pass to Warrior.
Also nailed the +3 attack on it as well.
Yeah, +3 attack is pretty big.
Goodness, are things different if they coin the Tar Creeper? Because,
well, I mean,
no, it's not.
Things
running a Kill Command into Houndmaster
are finally going CompLexity's way. They've had a lot of bad beats, and finally they had 2 games back to back where very good things were happening, and now they're back on the play with no turn 1, and now they're gonna have to see what their Hunter deck can do. Oh wait, sorry, it was a little bit of lag on Spectator Client. Still no turn 1, and if they don't get it, they'll have to see what ends up happening with their hand.
They do have a coin 1 though. Coin 2 into 2 is quite strong still.
It is.
I am curious how aggressively they want to mulligan this one.
Yeah, and Team Liquid also has to consider something too. Do they want to keep Bloodseal Corsair? Because you know that Hunter often exists in this tournament format, and also just in general many formats, because they have such synergy with Galaka Crawler to shut down Pirates and capitalize off that beast synergy.
I do like keeping the Corsair, I think. I don't like keeping the Bloodlust or the Primal Fin. I think that they need to find something much more aggressive.
Jade Lightning's good. Jade Claws and Jade Lightning, I think, are one of the most important cards against early game.
Primal Fin is good if CompLexity doesn't lead off with a strong play. Oh! My stomach!
Well, you can already see that Team Liquid was upset to see about that, upset to see that, but they're still talking about their plays. There is merit to just playing the Bloodsail Corsair just straight up onto the board. Eagle Hornbow won't come out for a couple turns. Your opponent only kept 1 card, so it's unlikely that it's going to be...
you need to fight Alley-Cat, is what it boils down to.
Yeah, a little oops to indicate that they have patches.
Oh my gosh!
CompLexity making the miracle comeback here. Let's go ahead and immediately tune in and see how Team Liquid's going to feel about that one.
Yep.
I don't see anything else.
And then Primal Fin next turn.
Dog?
Seems good.
It's definitely Jade Claws for sure.
Yeah, we also punch it though, right?
Yeah, punch it, yeah, for sure. If I go for a value trade and play like Kaina, and then we can just go with patches, trade, punch, and then we're fine.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say we're fine.
I wouldn't say we're fine either.
Yeah.
We want to keep the
left one.
Yeah, it's just about information. You don't want them knowing that it's a cheap card, since that's all you keep.
+3?
Yep. Every
Yeah,
time.
for sure.
Well, they are very good. Just Primal Fin kill the thing, right?
Yep.
Well, are we gonna get shredded by Hunter?
That's not good.
That's really not good.
That's not good.
Good thing is that they can't Houndmaster now, though they have Crab.
No!
It's bad, man.
I mean, what if they have a minion too? We just leave, right? I mean, we have to draw the ball.
We have Murloc Paladin left. No.
This is not looking great.
We can get the Vault, right? The Vault portal. That might win us the game, honestly.
Just look at this care, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They kept one like Razor Maw, and yeah, they just drew everything else. Oh, I actually drew the Vault. I just do it, right?
Yeah.
Being too much otherwise.
Just pass.
Totem.
Yeah.
Yeah, never won one.
I mean, I would Houndmaster the Beast every time.
Which one?
Probably the
left
small one because of Gate Lightning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that was probably game. They also have Handmaster. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we don't beat those cares.
Jade Lightning and patches it. At least we know they run Murloc.
I mean, it's not like it changes anything, right? We'd still do the same thing.
No.
So Team Liquid needed a Devolve to land, and what I was saying during that, I was like, well, they have to dodge the 50-50 on Whisper, Snow Flipper, Penguin, and they get that, but the 2 1-mana minions that get devolved happen to be beasts.
Yeah, and this is just about as over as it gets. Team Liquid has nothing utility left in their hand, and Tundra Rhino, one of the most important minions in the game to kill, is going to be on board.
With a Savannah Hyman to back it up.
CompLexity.
When Hunter draws like this, they are a tier 1 deck.
There's no question about it. This has been insane. Team Liquid drawing the patches in the opening hand was brutal. But, I mean, I think CompLexity would have won this game anyway. Like, this has just been insane.
Houndmaster can, or not Houndmaster, Savannah Hyman has clean trades, but they don't have to utilize that. Definitely worth evaluating if they want to immediately play the Hindmane, because they do have Eagle Hornbow and Rat Pack as possibilities as well.
Jamming that Hindmane's so fast.
Yeah, I mean, you get the charge off the 2/2 Beast as well, but then you also won't open yourself up to, what's it called? Maelstrom Portal? They don't even care. It's going all face.
Yep. Team Liquid has lost 3 straight to Hunter. CompLexity now is on match point. They were down 4-2 in this set. They omit their own warrior from the lineup, and Hunter is hard carrying them. And this is super important. Think back to last season and their 50% win rate in games, but they won the whole tournament. All their matches were close, and they've brought this one back. 1 win away from putting themselves in the top 4.
A large reason why is because when they lose sometimes pretty handily, like 6-3. But when they win by their small edges. They calculate everything. And that's very understandable. People might be thinking, well, if they win 50% rate, they just have to get lucky, right? Well, what ends up happening was in the series that they lost, one of the strategies fell through halfway. So then their opponents would win out and then, of course, crush the rest of their lineup because they didn't account for 2 decks losing in a row. So it's like a 6-3, 6-4 loss. But if they won, it was 6-5 because they calculated the edges of, well, we counter, and we're able to come out ahead. And now CompLexity is able to do that same thing, but they also took a very risky strategy. People make fun of teams that bring Hunter in Trinity Series. It's actually kind of the cutting edge meta to get likes on Twitter. And you just kind of talk about, I can't believe you brought Hunter. What did you expect? Anything different? And now Hunter is on the verge of closing out this series and booking CompLexity another ticket to Southern California. And how fitting would that be as our reigning champions to be able to come back once again and defying the odds and surviving the elimination?
Yeah, hey, this is a big one. Now, they are on the play, and it's looking like they're going to full mulligan. They have some really big payoff cards, though, and Hungry Crab is the biggest one. They have Hungry Crab in their deck, and they've only drawn it at opportune times thus far. Here, it's the most opportune time.
So you throw away even the Kinley grandmother.
I'm throwing away everything here. I'm looking for Alley Cat. I'm looking for Hungry Crab. They keep the Kinley, though.
Well, funny thing about the Hungry Crabs, even if they draw, they wouldn't play it turn 1.
Oh my god.
Are you serious? They've had to put 2 in their deck, right? There's no way.
And they haven't drawn Unleash up to this point.
Okay.
CompLexity, their deck is firing on all cylinders
So
right
if I'm Team Liquid, I saw them keep 1 card. Would you consider waiting? Because the thing is, you do have a turn 1, turn 2, but there's also an opportunity to narrow down
Look at
the impact of what your opponent does. Because if they Hungry Crab and get proactive tempo against you, you just lose sometimes. There is an opportunity to wait and then play 3 Murlocs, and then as a result, you can dictate the trades afterwards.
It's a really good point. But if that plays a 2-drop, then do you give up too much in the face of Bow or something else? I don't know. Let's listen to Team Liquid. This could be brutal.
Actually, don't have it. Maybe they have it, but they don't want to play it.
I think we do that.
Just rock pool face.
What about also playing another Murloc?
I don't know, man. Like, we don't have anything, so...
Like, Coin Steed is actually... Like, Steed is gonna be MVP.
Yes.
I mean, Coin can be really good, actually. So, I like Rock Pool.
But the question is, do we trade or not?
No, I don't think we ever trade. I think I just want
I don't like trading. It's only Leok, right?
I guess don't play around Razormaw that much, because they can buff the second one. I'm down. I mean, I just want to kind of clear the board, but yeah.
I like Smork here and Rock Pool.
On the Smork also.
I honestly don't think we can win if we don't get a steed off, so I want to save the coin. Especially if we have plays, I want to save it as much as possible.
We sure we don't just Grandmother and Hungry Crab?
That might also be something.
No, what are the whiffs though? Like,
What about Knife Juggler Hungry Crab? We get 2 50/50s.
no, I'm pretty sure it's just crackling because like, what are the whiffs? Like, we get.
But they never clear all our beasts next turn. If we go Knife Juggler Hungry Crab, like
It's not
we have
Knife Juggler.
75%.
No, we need to save the wait.
We don't need to save. We're gonna be ahead, right?
Shit.
We could candy Hungry Crab.
That's also something.
Hungry Crab on the 2-3.
Then they just have World Leader. I think if we have a chance to clear this, then we should.
I would Knife Juggler Hungry Crab personally. 75% to hit. It's better than.
Okay, do it, okay.
Crackling.
Put this apple on your head.
On an Elite.
No. Is that Hungry Crab?
It is. It's bad, man. Alright, dodge this.
If we dodge this, maybe, but nah. Okay, we actually dodged it.
Stupid.
Let me think.
Just play everything like go 1 coin hero power, and
Hero power.
and hope we
Yeah, I
get
like 1 coin. Yeah. 1 coin hero power trade to the juggler, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Don't we just Alley Cat Unleash?
I think we do.
Yeah, I think so too. They would have consecrated if they had it, right?
Mhm.
It's also I think we
Yeah.
we do it anyways.
Because we
Yeah,
need to clear.
Yeah,
Cat
it's
Unleash.
Mhm. Just unleash
There's
first.
nothing with Razor Maul, right?
No, it's never. It's just unleash and you. Yeah.
Trade the 3-4 into the 2-4.
Yeah. And then you trade
That's it.
two doggies into the small one.
Yeah.
And then you can think about the value trade of the 3-2. I think it's actually good.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we actually have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to make the value trade and you just play it.
Just War Leader?
Yeah.
We
Next
can
time
go
call
with
light hero power.
here.
Hero powers here.
We'll lose to everything here. Literally any card they play will lose, I think. Unless they have like high main and stuff.
Wait, try on the 3-2.
Well, we're trading the 3-1 into the 3-3.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. We just want the biggest, baddest.
Health, right?
Mm-hmm.
Never poisonous. No, it's health. I agree.
Health and trades at 3-2. I mean 3-5.
Yeah, health and
Yeah.
value trade. Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do we hero power or do we kindly?
Oh,
I like Grandmother still.
I like Grandmother as well.
Yeah, I'd rather one develop.
big teeth I have. I move quickly.
Team Liquid is pretty much dead. They had a chance to draw Consecration if they had it in their deck, but I think with aggressive Chums and CompLexity Series, it doesn't seem likely that they have it.
If they're running it, I think it's a one of, but I don't think they're running it. And Complexity is on the verge of their...
How much do you wish that you played P.F. Chang's Paladin right now? Gosh.
Shout out to Team Love You Lots for that
Shout
one.
out to Team Low, man. And, you know, their hopes of making top 4 in the standings are slipping with every passing second. They are currently, you know, in 4th place, but it's not really happening. CompLexity, 4 games in a row with Hunter if they're able to close this out. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 on the board, plus Kill Command Hero Power is 19.
This 19.
It's 19. A casual 19 to the point where Team Liquid can't even close out the game, even if Spiker's Steed landed optimally.
Oh my.
That's lethal.
10 from hand.
Yep, that's lethal. Oh, is it not? No, it's not. I thought it was Leogok. I thought they were going to get Leogok and just wreck him.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, they're 2 off. Ah, you put them at 2. Or, you know, put them at whatever and then kill Command Hero Power the next turn. They're dead. Team Liquid has no way to win. There's actually not a card in the deck that gets them out of this.
Yeah.
Virtually impossible. CompLexity. They've had an up and down season. They were the season 1 winners, and they were on the verge of elimination multiple times throughout. And here, 2 games back, they brought Hunter this week and Omit Warrior, the deck that just swept in our previous series, and now take 4 straight games and solidify their top 4 spot.
I just do not believe Hunter can perform this well, but CompLexity is a team that defies expectations. And you can see the relief on them. Yakin's coming back to SoCal along with his buddy Crane, this time joined by Tyler. CompLexity finishes the regular season 4-3, and the returning champions are coming back to Cali.
Wow, just what a finish. The tech cards came in massive for CompLexity in this matchup. They had some incredible draws with Hunter, and this is why Hunter, I think, has some mediocre cards in the format, is because if you give Hunter good cards, they are disgustingly powerful.
The story of today is just the deck building preparation of how it impacts the lineups. You know, we always talk about how it plays and how some teams made epic mistakes, from missing lethals to not counting properly to just order costing them valuable percentage points. But in this case, CompLexity decided to go for a left field strategy with bringing Hunter, and it hasn't worked out in the past couple weeks for the teams that were bold enough to try it. But they did, and it paid off in spades, because they're able to have the exact tech that they were anticipating, such as Hungry Pack against Murlocs and Galactic Crawler against Pirates, and whatever else that they had, too. We didn't see everything in their deck list. They definitely had a couple other surprises, like Timberwolf appear today.
Yeah, Knife Juggler rotating back in. You know, was that a key tool that was missing from a lot of Hunter decks? You think back to when it was a dominant force. Mad Scientist was there, and that was often thought as the reason Hunter was dominant, but Knife Juggler played a big role in that as well.
Yeah, that's right. And it's a fairly aggressive card where people anticipate Hunter to be more of a mid-range centric deck. Knife Juggler was primarily used to push out a lot of damage, and then if your opponent was able to stabilize, then you'd use a lot of other ways like Quick Shot, Kill Command to finish off the game. Now, these days, Hunter is just so board and beast centric that they actually can play a slower version. That's why they slapped Deathstalker Rexar in it, so they can have long game plans.
Yeah, I don't think that's in this one. Deck. I don't think it was in this deck. This deck looked like it was all aggro all the time.
You never know. I mean, I would have loved to see.
Of course, he thinks it's there.
It's my favorite card from Knights of the Frozen Throne. These are the final standings that we have for our top 4. And look at how the tables have turned. We have a team in first place that didn't start off the day that way. Planet Odd is sitting alone at the top based off the game win-loss differential as a tiebreaker.
Mind you, after week 4, I believe it was, Planet Odd was 1-3. And they were at the bottom of the standings.
In true CompLexity form, they somehow get to the top half of the bracket by not having a positive win rate. That is so funny to me, but that's what they do.
Their losses have been lopsided. Their wins have been close. That's exactly how they won last year. It's crazy.
Yeah. And Love You Lots and Misfits, G2, and Tempo end up in the bottom half, but it was also really close. I mean, even just for the standings, too. Misfits and G2 off by a single game and loss. That's crazy to me. But they also look at Love You Lots. They were separated by a single loss.
That's right. I mean,
that is ridiculously close.
The thing to look at for me is that on paper, Planet Odd has the strongest resume this year. They have 2 seasonal champions and 6-0, who's been an extremely consistent performer throughout his career, albeit this year has not been a super stacked resume for him. He's been traveling a lot of circuit stuff, but not able to make giant breakthroughs in some of the major tournaments that are out there. But on paper, they are the strongest team, and they had the best win rate.
And we have 3 out of our 4 teams in the top 4 are returning from Season 1 finals. Team Liquid, Pro, and of course, CompLexity, who a member of is joining us with an interview. We have Crane to kind of talk a little bit about how that series went. So tell us how it feels right now to make another appearance here at Trinity Season Finals.
Yeah, it was actually quite almost emotional at the ending because we were in a very bad spot in the series and had to rely on Hunter and Paladin. And Hunter had to win, we had to queue Hunter into Rogue, which is not, you have 2 Golakas, but it's not a good matchup, especially not with the version they ran. So, but yeah, it's really insane. We won the 3 first weeks, and then we kind of just needed one more win, but we just got stomped 3 weeks in a row. So.
Yeah. Well, talk a little bit about the decision to bring Hunter and not bring Warrior, even though everyone seems to be liking Warrior, and some teams even sweat with it today.
Yeah. Well, Warrior and Hunter, I feel, are definitely the weakest decks alongside Shaman. We were not that confident on the Warrior. We felt like we would have to put an insane amount of work into it, and then it might not even be that good. And then actually I practiced a lot with Casey, and the Hunter deck was performing pretty well. The Hunter deck was just much better than for this format than anything else I've tried. You can't play that Hunter deck against decks like Priest and Druid, so it just emerged for the tournament specifically.
Wow. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so Super JJ exiting the team for this season and picking up Tyler in place. He was very apparently the leader of you guys, I'd say, in Season 1. Talk to me about how it's changed throughout this season, where it seems that you have stepped up big in that role.
Well, I wouldn't say he was the leader in the first season. I don't know what this leader stuff is, but Tyler
he was the loudest. Can we agree?
Yeah, sure. But Tyler's just a really good player, so there's nothing to complain about there. I think we are still a really strong team. I mean, still some stuff some things to work at and stuff, but overall, I think we played pretty well. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, nothing to complain about there.
Well, I guess the last question coming back to the finals and how you guys have made it to the top 4. I think 3 out of the 4 teams, at least by what we looked at the standings, of course, we'll go back and double check all the game scores to make sure we provide you guys the accurate score. But 3 out of the 4 teams are returning finalists from Season 1. And what does that really speak to you? Because I think a lot of people are talking about how evenly matched a lot of these teams are.
I mean, it's so close. It would be really silly of me to just say, yeah, we were the best team last time, and we're still the best teams. And the teams who didn't make it by 1 or 2 wins were just worse. So I think maybe there's a little bit of an advantage in experience for the teams who are returning. But other than that, I feel like the teams that stepped in, if you look at their lineups, they have like really good players. It's some teams might have had some struggles with communication and I would say deck building as well. I think there's been some really bad deck building, but.
Well, save it for the finals, Chris. Save it for the trash talk for the finals. We'll see what ends up happening. I don't find it a coincidence, by the way, that 4 members of CompLexity are participating in the Trinity Series, and all of them are going to the finals in some capacity. So congratulations, Crane. We'll see you in Southern California pretty soon.
Thanks.
All right, willing to stay humble, but also threw a little bit of comments at the very end. That's what we come to expect from some of these players. In the end, they don't want to outright say that we decisively are just much better, but we do feel like some decisions we did better. And I think that is a very good summary of what happened today.
He also just likes to hate on all my questions here. Super JJ wasn't the leader. You guys asked him every single time for approval. Don't give me that. JJ
well, it was definitely easy to latch onto that because JJ was definitely, at least volume-wise, the loudest. He'd always be, kind of making a lot of noise or clapping a lot, getting really, physically involved.
I'm going to go back and count the number of times they didn't do what JJ said. It's going to be very few.
I don't know. In a lot of ways, I do feel like Crane is very opinionated, but at the same time, he doesn't want to assume that he's like the dominant one either, which is very interesting.
What does leader really mean? I don't mean that he's like making all the decisions and driving all the practice and saying these are the decks we're going to play, but he was
leader means leader, and if you need to find out what that means, there's a dictionary on Google for you. Here's are the top 4 teams that we have at the end of 7 weeks of play. Planet Odd sits number 1. Barely over Team Liquid, and honestly, I think Team Liquid's okay with finishing second, given that they were pretty much guaranteed a spot before today started.
Yeah, it's been quite a series for this. Remember to follow on the channel here at twitch.tv/ESL_Hearthstone. December 8th through 10th is at live finals, and I know you're not putting in your phone calendar, so just follow the channel and turn on notifications, so that way when it goes live, you're not missing stuff when that happens.
That's right.
We're going to be there, and I know you're going to want to be there.
That's right. And we'll find out who else is going to be there, because I think 2 of us are. We're probably going to look for another caster as well. But it's been really fun. 7 weeks of Trinity Series, Honorable. And of course, we couldn't do this without our partners in Intel, Twitch, and ESL. And a big thank you. And that's one of the best things that you guys can do, is to thank them for helping us put it together, so that way we can continue to put on a fun show. It's been a great regular season, Honorable. Any final words to sign off before next time we see these guys live in studio for the $150,000 competition?
Yeah, Trinity Series has been very enjoyable for me throughout 2 seasons. It's got a mixture of everything I love about this competitive scene. It's a lot of fun. It's the camaraderie of the players, and you see that there's not a lot of bad blood between these guys. They all practice together, and they're all friends. And to me, that's what really Trinity is about. It's about taking all of those aspects and mixing them up into one great event that we have here. And it's just been such a pleasure to work on it, such an honor to work on it. And I'm glad that everybody who's watching typically feels the same way. I get very few tweets that are angry after Trinity Series.
That's right. The only thing that makes people angry about Trinity Series is that there eventually is an end to the season, and that is right now. Thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in. A big shout out to all the production staff, as well as our producers who've worked so hard and tirelessly. They didn't ask me to thank them, but I am doing it live on air because they put so much work behind the scenes to make it happen. And of course, the viewers. Some of you guys stuck with us from the very beginning, but we're not done yet. We have the live finals at December 8th through 10th. Thanks for everyone watching, from Frodan, Honorable, and everyone else here at the Intel Esports Arena. We'll see you guys at the live finals for Trinity Season 2 conclusion.
You guys seeing this?
Game, record, and stream without compromise. Only on Intel Core i7.